And we're live. And I think the audio might even be working. Maybe, sorta, kinda,
Maybe. One
maybe.
day.
One day, maybe? No, it seems to be working. Okay, cool. We're here.
Gotta give the generic YouTuber intro.
You know what?
Hey.
You're on a video watching platform. You at home, you're on one of them. Whichever one. You know what to do. There are buttons. Uh, I'm not tell you which buttons to push, but there are buttons to push. Eventually, at some point.
Gotta start your next stream just like, hey, what's going on, guys? Basically tabletop here, and today we're going to be working on... Have you ever watched that video that's a bunch of YouTubers in other languages, and they all have the YouTuber accent, where it all takes that kind of like flow to it, no matter what language you click on?
Yep. That's why I go well out of my way to not sound like that at all, ever. Because I have to be contrarian. That's how this works. I have to be that guy. At all times, no matter what.
That guy?
That guy. That guy. I have a new camera angle that I think is slightly better.
My grandmother has scienced it down to a T of perfecting, making the exact same thing as the Panda Express chow mein. It's identical now.
Nice. Speaking of food, people are taking it. People are taking food. Alright, so I've got here not so erudite. I had actually started this video in last night's stream, but we only got about like 10 minutes into it. And it's an hour 15, which means we're going to be talking about this for like 4 hours straight. Easy.
I haven't seen this video. Let me sum it up for you. People just take shit because they know they're not going to be punished for it. It's almost like they feel righteous about taking shit. Like, you can't punish me. It's my right. Like, it's against the law. Like, you don't have the right to punish me for this. You have to let me go. That's the whole video.
I'm gonna go with it.
And also just crackheads who are just crazy people to begin with. They'd steal no matter what the law was.
I'm gonna add in, it is also people arguing that in the right circumstances it is morally justified and we are fighting capitalism.
Oh, I guess so, since it is more politically focused video, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we're getting into the deep fun stuff.
I'm just talking from the perspective of somebody who's experienced these things all the time but has no political outlook.
Oh yeah, so do you wanna
perfect combo. Somebody who's experienced it but has no political outlook versus somebody who has a lot of political outlook but hasn't really experienced this that much.
I mean, I've worked retail a little bit. I haven't really run hardcore into this, but like I've worked retail. I
worked security for retail during COVID. It was horrific.
Right.
The store gave all the employees like a $400 bonus for having to put up with a BS. The only thing is the security guard who's the one who has to put up with the BS all the time. I'm hired by a different company, so I didn't get that bonus.
Oof.
So it's like they're like a bonus for dealing with the crackheads. I'm the one who deals with them. I don't get the bonus.
Also, I have run my own store before. I've been a store owner behind the counter, tiny little
physical
shop.
Storefront?
Yeah. Yeah.
What was it for? Like a tech supply shop or something? That's my best guess, you know.
No, actually it was my it was my ex's in my shop, and it was mostly her thing, but I was running most of the technicals. But it was actually a spiritual wellness boutique. So we're like selling like
didn't do well.
Yeah,
that didn't do well.
Yeah, I know, right?
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, so nutty. She still kind of runs it here and there, mostly making custom aromatherapy blends. But at one point we had a storefront, and yeah, but you know,
what, you sell healing crystals?
Yeah, I mean it was mostly aromatherapy, but there were crystals. Crystals
Oh
did
my god.
did exist there. Yeah, that was a thing. Um,
Yeah, leave it off your resume, Chief.
uh, man, bold to assume I have made a resume in the last like 7 years.
You
um,
don't do the fourth of your resume?
it- no, I don't. I don't apply at
I guess that's
places.
maybe
I'm
just a thing that
self-employed.
happens in the schools out here in California. But like, it's been a thing in California where it's called Fourth of your resume, where every time it hits a Fourth of July, you update your resume.
No, because I don't apply at places. If anything, it's more like people apply to me for me to work for them.
Mhm. But like,
Uh,
I was doing that for like 3 years before I even applied to anywhere. It was
well,
just like a
fair enough.
tradition that I thought everyone did until I started meeting online people all the time.
Nope, never heard of it.
Like 50% of the population wipes while sitting down, the other 50% wipes while standing up, and a majority of both of them don't know that the other group exists.
Yeah. Which weird.
Are you really about to ask me if I'm a stander or a sitter?
No, I was just I had
I thought
forgotten
you'd be
that
like,
that was a
what are
thing.
you?
I've known about that for like a very long time, and I forgot
Like,
about
I
it, and
served a stint
apparently
as like
I was happier
elementary
forgetting
school.
about it.
Oh damn! Why'd you have to say forgetting about it? I just lost the game, you asshole.
Yes. Okay.
Everyone in chat.
So, all right, let's see how the video actually goes. Should I jump past the intro? We'll do the
Mayor
teasers.
quote tweeted the video saying, "Remember, you ever see somebody stealing food? No, you didn't."
Even if you think it's bad in some abstract sense, it's hard to get mad about. Like, because who cares?
I don't know why certain lefties feel the need
The
to
people
just
who are
like
being
desperately
paid to
defend
care.
every single
The
behavior.
people whose literally
but
their
certain
job
group of
is to give a shit.
Yeah, right.
Like right here, this is terrorism. That right there, that's a terrorist. They're terrorizing the employees of the store by forcing them to have to deal with the stress of this happening. Because you can't just do absolutely nothing, even though that's like the law. If you do absolutely nothing and pretend like you don't give a shit whatsoever, then regardless of what the law is, your managers are going to get pissed at you, and nobody wants to piss off their manager, right? So
So
it's
when
like
I
you're
worked
just
retail,
instilling stress in the retail people for no fucking reason.
uh,
Especially if that door has a security guard, because it's literally their job to give a shit about this, right?
right. So I worked for TJ Maxx and Home Goods, and it was official policy actually, that there were specific people in the building that it was their job to deal with that, and that
Yep.
if there was even the slightest hint, like whiff of there being danger, intended or accidental, anyone that was not on that specific team was just mess off. Just go, just don't get involved
Yeah.
because it
Like,
was better take whatever loss it was and figure out with insurance than deal with a normal employee getting hurt and then that turning
yeah.
into a
The
lawsuit.
thing is for the security guard of that place who does have to deal with that, like their day has just become significantly more stressful than it needed to be because they have to put up with this kind of asshole out of nowhere. You know, like those kind of people are always the ones who are going to be fucking like aggressive about it too and screaming, shouty, all right about it, fucking like what is the word? Just super like pressy about it, you know, like pretending like they're in the right somehow.
Hmm.
But
I
it's like
mean,
it's literally I'm getting paid to care.
unfortunately, I didn't really run in that because we we didn't sell like groceries. So like I think the worst example I ran into, and it wasn't like shoplifting, it was actually an attempted return. But it was like
Mm-hmm.
this. So as you probably know, there's a bunch of different types of security tags used for different types of clothing in particular. And one of the ones used for like the most expensive stuff is one that if it's tampered with, it squirts a bunch of ink. Like a lot of
Oh
ink,
yeah.
right? So it was this garment, um, as
Let me mute real quick.
yeah. Um, it was this garment that was so expensive that it was in like it came inside of a display box. with this ink tag in full view. And this woman brought it to my counter. I was on register. And the ink tag had gone off very clearly. And it was a white garment, or like off-white, right? So like super visible, basically ruined the garment, effectively. And this woman,
Oh, yeah.
this woman's
They
like,
passed.
what?
I was just saying they passed. Oh, here's more. Fuck.
Yeah. This woman's like, okay, so I bought this last week. I don't remember if she had a receipt or not. It didn't. I don't. You know what? No, I don't remember the receipt part of it at all.
Well, yeah.
But it was a case of, all right, so I bought this last week, and you guys didn't take this ink tag off, and I tried to take it off myself, and it exploded. And I'm like, well, I mean, oh, it must have been she didn't have a receipt, because if she did, that conversation might have gone a little differently. But I even called over my supervisor, and my supervisor was like, no, as soon as this tag goes off, like, you're screwed. Like, we don't, if you don't have a receipt, and it was like, it was like legitimately like $160, $170, like top
Yeah.
or whatever, right? So it's like
unreasonably expensive shit.
right, and it's like, yeah, that tag went off. Even if it was us, you don't have a receipt, and no, yeah, like get wrecked. But she tried to make a whole stink about it, and both of us are like, listen, that is like the tag. That's the end game tag. Like you've triggered all the traps in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's where the main problem with this lies. It's not the fact that they're stealing from the store, right? They come in. If you just came in, stole a cart worth of groceries, left, and I never saw you again, I'd be happy as hell. I'd have a good day. That's a good day for me, right? It's the fact that these people will do this. They'll be banned from coming on the premises anymore because I mean, you stole a cart worth of shit. Obviously, you're trespassing. You were banned from the premises. It's a private property.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll come back every single day and have a massive shouting fight and push over aisles over you kicking them out when they don't telling they can't shop there anymore and shit. You know, they'll have like a massive screaming, shouting, like temper tantrum over it every time, and then that person will come back every day, and then that one security guard has to deal with 20 to 30 of those people every day who come back daily, unironically. That's where the real issue is.
Jeez, that seems like a California problem, not gonna lie.
It's the fact that they're stealing shit. It's the fact that they steal shit, they get caught, they get banned, they come in and have like a self-righteous fighting match with you over it. A self-righteous shouting match with you over like getting kicked out of the store, you know? It's like you won't even be shouting. They're just the one shouting, you know? Because all these people who have the brain mindset of stealing that have the exact same mindset of whoever's louder is winning the argument. So they just start screaming immediately.
Oh, you mean like online debate?
They cause a scene. We'll just let them do whatever they want because we don't want the trouble.
Yeah, so online debate. Whoever's loudest wins. That's how it works. Also, loud equals funny.
Plus ratio comes from. Because whoever gets the most likes is automatically right according to the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. We've watched 19 seconds and talked for an hour.
Yep, that's about on par. But I was saying that seems like a California thing because I literally have never witnessed this and like actually occur. Yeah, like I've or at least in person. Of course, I've seen instances of online.
Grocery store thing. It's a grocery store thing.
Yeah,
because
but
everything somebody steals from a grocery store, they're gonna have to steal it again in a week if they want it. Whereas if they're stealing shit from your store, they're still gonna have it in a while, like in months and months and months. A huge majority of the time.
Sure, you know? But you figure if you go to the grocery store once a week for how many years have I been alive, you might have seen it once.
But like now that I've worked security, when I walk through any store, anytime ever now, I can just immediately tell who is stealing based off their like body language and shit, how they're acting, the way they're walking, you know, how they look literally. Like I can tell somebody's stealing. You know, like I've seen it like in the past few times I've gone into the store. I've seen this same crazy lady walking through the store, like itching herself, pushing around a shopping cart all aggressively, like tossing random shit into it. She'd walk down to another aisle, put it up on the shelf. I'm like, yeah, ain't no way she's allowed to be here. She's for sure like a guard walking around trying to kick her out. On the way out of the store, I saw her getting walked out by like 2 managers and 3 employees. I was like, yup. And then I see her there again the next time I went to the store, and the last time I went to the store, 3 times in a row, she was there again. So
Jeez.
you just learn to see people like that. There's a couple that I've noticed who go to this grocery store all the time. They're crackhead couples. Crackhead couples are all over the place. They're a very common stereotype, and they're a guy and a girl, crackhead couple who always have bicycles, who go around just stealing shit all the time, and they're like super cracky about it the whole time. They're high as fuck the whole time, right? Like they're just always tweaking their heads off. It's extremely obvious that they're stealing, but they try to play it off like they're not in the cringiest way possible. That's another
Wonder.
thing.
I
If
wonder
you
how
were
hard.
stealing, at least if you were stealing, then just fucking steal. Try to have the decency to at least try to hide it. You know, if you're
Mhm.
stealing and I can, as a security guard, use the excuse of, oh, they hid it from me, I couldn't tell, then I'm just gonna let it go because I don't care. The only time I do something is when I'm put in a situation where it's extremely fucking obvious that I see this happening, and as if I, as a security guard, don't at least say something to you, I'm going to get in trouble. If you at least have the decency to try to hide it to where I can use the excuse that I didn't notice, or I wasn't for sure, then I will let you go every time. The thing is, majority of these people don't do that. They come in, they make a ruckus about it, they take cartfuls of shit, they shout about it, they go running through the store, and then it's crackheads who return over and over. Ah, Ray!
Ree!
Just put seething hatred in parentheses at the end of the fucking
Yeah.
just the end of the title. Like,
All right. So now we shall move on into the 22nd category. we will
5
we
minute
will
chat every second.
we will
We have
ascend
one
beyond the
video
the
stream ready to go.
the teen second count.
People, but it just feels like so. It's so insane.
Oh yeah, we hadn't even like gone to the actual video. We were still in the teasers.
Yeah, do you think the person on the left in the video, not the one talking, but in the video on the right, do you think the person on the left is an employee or another person stealing? You can't
Oh,
see it
I've
in this
actually
frame, but we saw them
I
in all the other frames.
like I said earlier, I've actually seen the first like 10 minutes of this video, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna
Just skip to wherever
spoiler
the
stuff.
content
Yeah.
actually starts then.
Well, it's about to be in a second. Though, so it's fading to black.
Okay. So
Same.
now to the 25-second part of this video.
There it goes.
this
So
video.
so reminder to the people watching, this is not
26-second
so
portion.
this is not so erudite. She's pretty reasonable, I
Basically
find.
pauses.
Yeah, I'm a pausing Andy. Okay, I'm a pause all day.
Basically pauses. Basically
Yeah,
pauses video.
Some of you may be aware, this video has sparked a bit of a controversy on the wonderful, healthy, very well-rounded, nuanced website of Twitter.
I mean, she's doing it right.
And it sparked controversy specifically because Merrick,
That's a
a friend of the
respectful
stream.
doink.
I don't know. if
All
she considers
meats,
herself actually
good,
a friend of the
valuable
stream. I probably
shit.
shouldn't put that on her. We have I feel like a decently neutral to positive relationship. Quote
Never
tweeted
understood
the
people who
video
steal
saying,
the lowest
"Remember,
quality version of a thing.
never
If you're
see somebody
stealing it
stealing
anyways, might as well
food.
take the good
No,
quality
you
one."
didn't." Now this is an implication that she's stealing all that meat because she's starving. Now we're gonna watch it again just to suss out whether or not that's what's going on. Meat, 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 meat.
The lady on the phone could be calling the cops and saying this lady shot her, and they still won't show up for 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh yeah, I know, right?
Meat. It's just all meat.
Yeah, that's a respectable.
So
yoink
unless
right
she's
there.
on the Michaela Peterson
At least
diet,
they're taking
unless she's on the
the
carnivore
stuff that's
diet,
worth stealing. You know.
I don't know if she's stealing food to feed herself and her family. Okay? Again, maybe she's on the Peterson diet, but I don't know if those tubes of ground
I
beef
also
would be
immediately
allowed.
don't
I
agree with this
actually know if they're
lady's
allowed.
trying
So,
to
There's a huge
casually push the This lady's trying to casually push the agenda that stealing is okay if you're starving without mentioning it outright, and that's pissing me off a little bit.
Who the one speak erudite here?
Yeah, the one speaking right now. They're like
Okay.
trying to push the agenda that it's okay to
Well,
steal
no,
food
no,
from
no. She
starving by
she.
mentioning it every time without ever outright mentioning it. If they don't fix that, it's gonna be off.
Well, no. Actually, we were talking over her saying that she said that this other person on Twitter implied that that was the
Oh.
logic, and that
Okay, good.
she's now saying, which I agree with, that that's not the case because they pretty much only stole meat, which is a garbage grab if you're trying to get food to like feed yourself and your family because you're literally starving. I would say your best bet is to grab tons of canned food because that stuff ain't never going bad.
If you have a big enough freezer, you could freeze the meat for a very long period of time. I'd say you
Not
could
that
definitely
long.
eat that meat without it going long for like 2 years.
What?
You know,
You don't
depends on your.
freeze food very often, do you?
Well, no, but
No, listen, you take a roast
That's
beef
right.
and you freeze it. It's no
motherfucker's
it
going to one
by
barbecue.
end of well, I'm saying
One barbecue.
you get roast you get like a roast, right? And you put that in the freezer. That thing's bad after a month.
We had a guy who would come into the store, steal an entire duffel bag worth of bottles of shampoo, and then he'd walk down the corridor of homeless people and sell it to them for half the price.
Yeah, that's basically going to be the argument made here is like that woman's not stealing to feed people. That woman's stealing that to resell all that meat because it's meat. Like seriously, if it was a survival thing,
You fucking see
the
a soul food meat counter down the road that she's behind the counter too.
yeah,
Sweat starts dripping down her forehead as you show up.
pretty much. The because yeah, the starving person grab is like canned food, especially food you can eat directly out of the can, like beans and stuff. Because
If
beans,
you're stealing those canned wieners, then you can fucking have them, bro.
oh yeah, screw
If you're
those
stealing
things.
those canned
Those things are.
wieners, opening them, then eating them straight out of the can, you can have it, bro. Take them off the shelf. You're saving us. I tried
Right.
eating those things. I've tried them 10 times, 10 different ways. I cannot make them taste good no matter what the fuck I try.
Frozen Brussels sprouts can just like burn in hell.
Just eating them like chips. Fucking crunch, crunch, crunch.
Well, no. What I'm saying is, after you make them how you're supposed to make them by microwave them, they taste absolutely awful. And now I understand why most people don't like Brussels sprouts. If you take fresh Brussels sprouts and cook them well, like correctly,
Mm-hmm.
like like pan frying them, searing them in a frying pan, and then with like
Yeah, you get like the
cheese,
bulk
it's like
organic Brussels sprouts from Winco. Like,
right. I'm gonna assume that's good. That's something like Costco, but yeah. Anyway,
just the word organic should point out.
well, right. Um, but yeah, that's the way you should eat Brussels sprouts. And in which case, they're very good. I like Brussels sprouts. I hate frozen Brussels sprouts. Those things are the worst.
My grandma makes caramelized Brussels sprouts with some onions. It's
Nice.
super good.
That's pretty good. So,
Alright, to the 1
Huge
minute.
discourse
and
sparked
51
around
second
this
section.
because we'll go to her defense, okay? So she said, remember, if you see somebody stealing food, no, you didn't. And underneath, she says, I know this white woman knows how much meat costs right now, too. A lot of you are really concerned. A grocery store is going out of business, and it's very silly because grocery stores throw away tons of food, and that includes expensive meat on the regular. All right. So it's super important to note here that there's about a 0% chance that she's stealing all of that meat just for herself. One of the most common forms of shoplifting right now is where you steal hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of meat, electronics, other goods, and then you resell them. She's most likely reselling the meat at a cheaper, so she'll probably be
Had
selling it for
experience with
cheaper
that
than
too,
the
in a
grocery
different
store
store.
is, but obviously it's a profit for her since she got it for free. She's not stealing this to feed her family. And the rhetoric that she's stealing it to feed her family is fucking insane. It's fucking insane. So this went a little bit wild because I don't know why certain lefties feel the need to just like desperately defend every single behavior of like certain groups of people, but it just feels like it's so insane. It's such an insane position. Maybe she has 20 kids. All right. So it's going viral. So we're going to talk a little bit about shoplifting. Number one, I don't think Merrick understands anything about the economy or about how money or corporations or how like local economies work. Okay, so this is the most important thing to understand. When we're talking about corporations, she says, a lot of you think the grocery store is going to go out of business. It's very silly because grocery stores throw away tons of food, and that includes expensive meat on the regular. All right. Number one, cost of food loss is typically budgeted for. In fairness, so is shoplifting. And obviously, losing food that's getting tossed out is bad, but it's a different type of cost for the grocery store than high amounts of shoplifting. I'm sure I don't need to point out why food going past their expiry date on the shelf and being tossed isn't analogous to stealing hundreds of dollars of worth of meat. Hopefully, it's self evident to you why these two things are not analogous situations.
That doesn't happen as
Also
often
really
anymore.
important to
If you
point
go to
out
almost any
that one of the
grocery
main
store, they
groups
have
of
a
people
clearance
that
section
are-
for every type
that-
of food. That's
Not-
like about to go bad.
Not only
And
that,
those always sell out before like 12 p.m.
right, but
or,
not
yeah, 12
not
p.m.
only that, but even if you were throwing it out, that would be on a set schedule, which means you can work around that. Which
Yeah.
means if
I've seen the stuff we throw out, okay? I've never seen, that's where I worked at for 3 years. I never saw them throw out meat once unless it was something they brought back and straight up went bag in the packaging. Never
Mhm.
because it was like, oh, it just sat on the shelf for everyone past the expiry date.
I actually had
Meat
that happen
meat
like
that got within
2
5
months
days,
ago.
meat that got within 3 days of the expiration date went on clearance, and that shit was gone before it hit 12 p.m. You know, like
hmm
clearance meat was always taken immediately. There's
Right.
a clearance fridge. There's clearance, multiple clearance shelves. You know.
hmm
You know what I saw them throw away bulk amounts of?
What?
Like coffee that they like an off-brand coffee that they got and nobody bought any of, and it went bad. I saw them throw out. Somebody had went through and cut a tiny hole in all of the bags of jelly beans, like 50 something bags of jelly beans. So all
What?
of them had to be thrown out. Yeah, he went through with like a little, like one of those little pocket like dagger knives, the stabby ones, and he just went bop, 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 into the bottom of every bag, moved it to the side, hit the ones behind that, and did every single bag on that shelf, and then he just pocketed the knife and went out the store. I watched the whole thing on security camera footage, just thinking one word, just why. Like he didn't take anything. I've never seen this person before. He has no like malice towards this store specifically. Is he like the we started referring to him as like the what was it called? The jelly bean bandit.
Yeah, but he didn't band
No,
it. He just
we never saw him again.
he's
Yeah,
the
he showed up
jelly
one time,
bean.
did that, never saw him again.
He's the jelly bean shanker. Because he's not a bandit. He didn't bandit anything. He just shanked stuff and left.
I don't think I've ever seen them throw out bread ever, because there's always a huge pile of bread on that clearance shelf every single morning, and again, gone by 12.
Mm-hmm.
It is significantly less than people make it out to be now. It used to be it used to be horrible, because clearance shelves used to be against some kind of like health code. You know, now they're not. Like, you used to have to get big loopholes and shit to put shit on clearance. You can only put shit on clearance if it was like, you know, something you're not selling well. You used to not be allowed to put something on clearance because it's going to expire soon. Now you can.
Yeah, no, actually at my one of my local stores, two stores. One, I got back into eating Doritos reasonably often because I found out that there are areas of the store where you can find consistently on clearance party size Dorito bags. And I'm like, oh, well, man, these are, considering it's Doritos, they're normally pretty expensive. This is suddenly not that expensive compared to any other chip I would consider buying. It's like, oh, it's like on parity, like per like the amount of chips I'm getting, you know?
Yeah.
But they're never near the chips, by the way, of course. They're just scattered throughout the store.
They're on their own little spot next to like the bathrooms.
Yeah, right. Like there's a couple of specific places this place keeps putting them at the end of certain aisles, like on the cap.
Yeah, check the refrigeration units that are closest to the the big refrigerators that they store stuff in,
Mm-hmm.
closest to the registers, because chances are at least one of them will be a clearance frozen fridge, and they're usually not marked or anything, but you'll look in it and see a bunch of shit with clearance tags on it. I've gotten some really good stuff. Like I've gotten some of that I forget the name of the brand, but it's like a gelato brand that's all over the place. That's like 750 towards $8 for 1 pint.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten that shit on clearance for $3 almost regularly. I got tons of them. They're so good.
Nice. The other one was from the smaller store. I got like a bag of sandwich ham, like the pre-sliced ham.
Mm-hmm.
And I get home the next day. Actually, no, it was that night. It was super late at night. I go to I go to start COVID, and um the it's just a ginormous mold spot. Like on the bottom of it, and like I had never run into this before. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm going back to store tomorrow.
Yeah, I have like a personal rule of never getting the prepackaged, pre-sliced meats. Always just go to the deli counter. It's about the same price to the pound, and it's always 10 million times better because they haven't been stuck in a bag of their own moisture for fucking months on end.
Well, these are organic ones.
Meats are there for like at least 2 weeks before they hit the shelf because they have to be transported. The deli counter meats are not the same because they're sliced on hand, so there's not as much outside skin moist available to the air to oxidize.
2 points. These are like organic meats, and this is from a store that does not have a deli.
So go to a different store, damn it. That's your own fault.
Well, it's the store with all like the organic stuff. It's like the health food store. It's not quite whole. It's like the local version of Whole Foods. I mean, we also have Whole Foods, but it's also like one of like the local, like effectively Whole Foods. It's like semi-local. It's like generally New England.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, right. So like, I don't know where exactly the source this specific me, but it is like generally speaking, a high quality, just sandwich sliced and thrown in a bag. And that's the only time I've ever had a problem was that one time, and
break their kneecaps over it. Sue the whole company.
Yeah, walked in there.
Fired.
Walked in, first employee I saw, threw it at their face, full spike. No.
I shit in the bag first, and then I returned it.
No, I just walked in, found the first employee. I was like, hey, so I got this. And they took one look. I was like, yeah, just go grab another one. And like, took it out of my hand and like ran off.
And I'm
like,
yes. Judgment for how fucked my store was compared to the one you worked at. How many times did people shit on the floor in the store or directly outside of the entrance?
Not a single time. In 4 years that I worked there.
40.
Yeah.
At least 40 times.
Listen.
And 5 of those people directly, like, maliciously smeared their shit all over the wall of the bathroom. Completely covered the fucker. Like,
That's
took a step stool into there
listen,
and put it on the ceilings type beat.
This is because
already a step stool, but I digress.
This is because you live in a GTA server.
This wasn't a GTA server town though. This was a town an hour and a half drive away from the GTA server town called fucking Santa Barbara. You know, the most tourism-y town in fucking like next to LA and all of California, you know.
Yeah, guess what? You're still in the same state. The whole state is GTA 4.
California is just fucked, bro.
Yeah.
If you're not getting charged for at least $5K a day worth of stuff, then you just get let go at the same time, no matter what. There was a story of this guy, like this crackhead, who would return to the same lady's porch and like sit on a folding chair that he brought right outside her front fucking door and just stay there. And he would get arrested every day for it, and he would just come back that same night and do it and stay there for hours and hours and hours. The cops wouldn't show up for at least 4 to 5 hours every time the woman called, and she couldn't leave her house because she's afraid this guy's gonna fucking break down the door and come in or some shit, right? Which is clearly what he's waiting to do, but until he actually does it, they can't charge him. Which, if you have the intent to commit a crime, you should just get fucking charged for it. Like at that fucking point.
Like if there's clear evidence, yeah.
Checking door handles to try to steal from cars, like you should just get charged for stealing from cars, even if it means you went through the whole parking lot and didn't find a single door handle that didn't work. That means that if you did, you were going to steal shit. So
yeah, because there's already conspiracy charges, like conspiracy to commit murder, conspiracy to commit.
Maybe talk to you, you know. The
Yeah.
cops will wait until you're out of the area and then show up and be like, well, he's gone, so I can't do anything. Or they'll maybe talk to you if they have to, because they show up while they're still there doing it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. But this guy kept showing up, and this went on for months and months and months until another homeless guy showed up while he was sitting there, shanked him, and he fucking died on her porch. And the lady was getting like in trouble for it at first until I took the security camera from the thing. They thought for sure she did it.
Jeez. This is why I
But she was getting
advocate.
so upset that she was making threats about doing shit like that over the phone, but never actually did it. So they immediately assumed it was her.
This stuff is why I advocate for legal, lethal home defense. Because guess what? None of that's gonna happen if someone knows that they can just legally get blatted.
Specifically a California story.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because
It was a whole thing specifically stating that this is only doable in California. They're let go unless it's like 2
oh
5
no,
people.
also happens in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's literally
I
a
wanna move to
streamer.
country that has
There's
no
a
bullshit,
streamer.
isn't directly against gays, but also speaks English. Only one that matches all of those is New Zealand. See you soon.
There's a streamer that has like gone viral because he does this in the UK because you can get away with it. He has just walked into people's houses on stream and like he's just walking around free. No one cares. And then on the videos, I saw this because Piers Morgan interviewed him. Piers Morgan is just disgusted by this kid, like obviously, and
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
all the comments are like, "Man, if this happened in the U.S., this kid be dead already." Like,
Well, the thing is that can happen in the U.S. because if their door was unlocked, it's technically not breaking and entering, and that law was made for law enforcement so that they essentially.
well,
So like it's a tool law enforcement use where if they need to enter a property or something, if the door's not locked, then they can enter. You know, if they walk up to your house and they don't have a warrant or anything. If they check your handle and it's unlocked, then they can just come in fully legally okay. And that law sort of loopholes around to being okay to do what that kid did, legally speaking. You still run the risk of having your head blown off with a shotgun. Like,
yeah, and depending on the state, that person would not get in trouble for it.
yeah, you have the what's it called? The something
Castle Doctrine. Yeah.
Castle Doctrine. There it is.
I thought for a while my state was Castle, and it turns out we're like a hybrid weird thing.
Yeah.
That's like you can if you like you can if you don't have a way out,
can't
right.
retreat.
Right.
That was another thing. It's like you have castle clause, but you don't have castle clause because you don't have stand your ground. Some places have stand your ground, which means you can castle and stand your ground, and other places have castle but no stand your ground. Meaning, if you can get out of there, then you have to get out of there. If you stood your ground, but you had a chance to get out of there and you shot somebody, then you can get in trouble. But if you had nothing you could do to get out of there, then you can then you can do it.
Which
But some places have stand your ground, some places don't have stand your ground. No places that don't have castle have stand your ground. Some places that do have castle do have it. You know, some squares are rectangles, and all rectangle squares kind of deal.
all these squares make a circle.
2 + 2 actually equals bigger 2. Korean math.
Oh, we learned last night on stream that there's a what?
1 + 1 = bigger 1. That's how he proved Western math was a lie. That's how a great esteemed leader proved Western math was a lie. Do you see that video?
Nah.
I'm getting a knock on my door. BRB.
How dare. This guy about to get
Jesus, I'm back.
Okay, there we go. Oh, is he on stream now? Nice. I always knew Jesus would do great as a streamer.
You can fucking change your streamer name to literally Jesus Christ.
What was I gonna say? Oh, we learned last night that there's a mathematical proof that proves that Winston Churchill is a carrot.
Fuck yeah, dude. Have you ever seen the male freckle rule?
No. I think this guy.
So every guy has the same freckle on their arm.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. If you look on your arm, so it's kind of hard to do it without actually showing you. But go to like let's say you were holding a shield in front of you, and that shield is strapped around like your forearm, and your fist is holding onto like a part of it. Now hold the shield out in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
and so like now point your finger in like the very entrance like curve of your elbow, sort of. Go to the top of where like you're between the inner part of your elbow and like the most outer part of your elbow, where it's like on the hinge of it, like where it's pointing directly upwards now. You there?
Okay. I think so.
And then move to the right about 1/3 of the way across your arm, and there should be a freckle in that general area.
You mean like here?
It's hard to do it without a video, but if you see a video, it's much more clear. It's like one freckle that over 98% of the male population has in the exact same spot. The exact same freckle.
I have like 4 freckles in that area, so take a look at the
I have a
video.
bunch too, but still.
Well, take a look at the video.
Like, there's only one
Is
and it's there.
any of this correct?
There's only one. It's there. I'll try to find it.
Okay.
Male
Well,
freckle.
tell me when to put my arm back on cam.
You can fucking do your thing, whatever. Viral tweet starts wrist freckle challenge. Oh, I had the wrong spot completely.
Oh, it's around
Much
your
more clear.
wrist?
Yeah. So like, you see that bump on your wrist on the left? Go like the same distance of that from the beginning of your hand in a diagonal to the other side of your.
It's on the left
That was
hand?
brown freckle right there. Left hand, yeah. I think so. I'm just gonna pull up the.
Hold on,
I'm
just
trying to find
pull
the
up my
clearest
stream
one.
and just tell me. Like, I only got 1 freckle like in the area. It's on my hand. So I don't
Pulling up your stream.
think I really
Pulling
have.
up your stream crashed my Google Chrome.
Yes.
Here's a video I'm talking about. YouTube. Oh my god.
Jeez. Okay, where is this supposed to be? I'm looking at the
Stream voice.
video. No, I got the video. I'm trying to figure out where they're pointing at.
Oh, did he not clearly state it?
Well, I can't hear it, because I'm trying to just see it. Okay, you know what? Let me do this.
I'm loading your stream right now.
I'm gonna copy a link.
Close. Almost got it right. All right, finally got your stream pulled up.
Okay, I'm about to. First, I'm gonna put this on screen.
Why have so many guys got this freckle on the same point of their wrist? Even I've got one. Firstly, these freckles are a result of sun exposure.
So it's like, oh, okay, that thing. Wait, so it's like it's supposed to be in the center of your left forearm, basically, if it's upwards? I mean, like that?
I had to unmute, so I had to unmute your stream to hear the video, so I had to double think for a moment. But yeah, right there.
You mean
I
that
got
one?
it.
Do you have it on the other arm too? Because I got matching.
I do actually.
Huh.
Mine's a little bit further up, just a tad.
The places that most sun expose are the face, the arms,
But yeah,
and the
it's only
back.
male
And
freckle,
guys,
right?
we tend to not be great
I
at
think this
putting
guy's like a doctor,
sunscreen on the
just like
arms,
to explain why it
especially
happens too.
when we've got a lot of hair there. All these are default skins and we've been manufactured. Why have
Huh. Interesting. Alright. Well. Okay.
There
Give
you
me
go,
a...
perfect scientific explanation. They're all default skins we've been manufactured.
Makes sense.
We're
Totally.
all, we're all characters in a video game being controlled by aliens. That would explain world religion.
Pretty much.
I saw that on Reddit the other day. I check out the reddit.com/aliens every once in a while. Like it's like one upload a day, and it's always some stupid shit. I saw that title was just like we are people. We are being in a video game being controlled by aliens, and that would and scientist explains how that would explain world religions. I'm just like, what the fuck? So you're telling me it's a class-based system? Like,
Class warfare is real.
Does
Yeah.
that mean you can respec? Is that why we're allowed to change religions? It's just an alien getting a respec on our character.
I mean, I have respect so much.
So you're telling an alien wants to sit behind his PC, play Magic the Gathering, and jack off all day? That's fucking crazy.
I mean,
I
yeah,
guess that is me when I play Sims. You're a
Yeah.
web developer now. Write books online. Infinite money glitch.
Also, I got pee. I'll be right back.
You're such a fucking
Mm-hmm.
god. Imagine peeing. No, could never. I could never. Top this week. Actually, no, it should still be in today. Amorphous.
Come and fly away with me. 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 Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Somewhere by the Emerald Sea, where the moon and water meet. Somewhere close to harmony, when the world is sound asleep. Something's gonna bring the change, journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Don't you be afraid, everything will change. You and I, jumping off the edge. They say dreamers never die. So come and fly, come and fly, come and fly away with me. We're rising, we're falling, we're making through. We're climbing, we're soaring, 1,000 views. Something's gonna bring the change, journeys we are meant to take. Something at the edge of space, calling us to fly away. Here we stand, open. This is home where we are ever.
And I'm black. Okay. Hey, Black Fox. Typical, I bring you all over in time for BRB. Oh, are we being rated on Kick or something? What's going on? Oh, hey. Sup? I think all your people left. Great timing. How's everyone doing? I gotta pull that off. We're done with that anyway. Back to this. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Where? How you doing, Katsuni? Where? We're seething and malding and coping over here about shoplifting. Is what it is. I'm gonna head off to bed myself. Have a good stream. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for popping in and attempting to bring some people over, but next time it is. Sorry, you gotta stop like coughing directly into mic. So I'm
That's not on yet.
I'm gonna come hunt you down, man. You sound like you're dying.
I returned and I sent you the link to the article I was talking about in chat. Aliens controlling our reality could explain religion.
Huh.
Facts and knowledge, bro. I promise.
I see.
They're essentially saying that it looks as if not one god had a hand in this, but a whole bunch of other gods had a hand in it, almost like a team of programmers creating code, and a few of them fucked up in the programming, and that's why we have contrasting ideologies. They essentially are saying it's a bug in the programming, and that's why religious wars exist.
Isn't that also just basically the plot of Ancient Aliens?
Yeah, it's something about like it was something. Literally, a quote here is, "The Pope is one of the several UFO experts featured in the new documentary God vs. Aliens, which examines whether life as we know it and perceived is just a simulation designed and controlled by extraterrestrials for some unknown purpose." A quote by the Pope: "Every aspect of human society would be deeply and profoundly affected by open contract with extraterrestrials." Or, sorry, every aspect of human society would be deeply and profoundly affected by open contact with extraterrestrials, and nowhere would this impact be bigger than when it comes to religion,
I mean,
Pope said.
yeah, that has nothing. That is not evidence that aliens are controlling anything. However, that's just a
that's
pretty.
just one part of the article. You can read the whole thing, make your own opinions about it.
Well, speaking of opinions,
I say this is 100% fact. The Pope said it. That means God told him, which means it's true.
my existence is pain. All right, erudite.
Wonder where he got the funding for that. Oh yeah,
for that documentary.
just
Man,
anything he does. Wonder where they got the funding for that. Uh-oh.
Yeah, probably from the Catholic Church because you know why?
Psalms.
Yeah.
Suffer as a result of stealing from
Give us
local
$20
business
every
is
time you come to
typically the
church, or you're
general
going to fucking
manager
hell.
of the store. So a way a lot of corporations work, and I don't know what store this is attached to, so I can't obviously say specifically this is how this corporation works. But there's this general sentiment among the left where, like, as long as you're shoplifting from major companies like Target and stuff like that, that's fine. The issue is that it still disproportionately negatively impacts usually kind of like the local entrepreneur who talked to Target or any other corporation and now is managing the location on site. So stealing
it for a
from local
second.
stores, even from Target.
Yo.
The thing is they think that they're like jabbing at the corporations and the corporate members.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are running the corporations are not reading their thing and going, "Oh, we had a bunch of stuff stolen. My day is ruined and I'm stressed out." They don't care. The only people you're actually affecting with this are the minimum wage workers who fill the store, just want to get their paycheck and go the hell home, and hate every moment about working there anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's the only people who are actually affected. So the sentiment that you're kicking it to the big guy is completely false, because every time you do that, you are not ruining the big guy's day. You are ruining like 20 little guys fucking days and making their shit stressful, like they're living paycheck to paycheck type deal. Like everyone working there except for maybe a small handful of managers are making minimum wage, and they're the ones who are getting like personally affected by this. Like, yeah,
Not
the
even
corporate guy
stress,
has a couple
but
$1,000 less in his million dollar wallet. Oh no, who fucking cares? He doesn't.
well,
Like,
no,
you're stressing
actually,
out the
she's
minimum wage people who you think that you're fighting for
it's
when you do this. That's
it's
all you're doing.
not even just the stress aspect. It's what she's explaining is that you're not even really taking dollars out of the super rich guy's wallet. You're literally taking dollars out of the wallet of the guy managing that specific store because a lot of them work kind of akin to franchises. It's like if you go rob
Yeah.
a McDonald's, you have like an 85% chance to be robbing just the guy that owns that franchise of McDonald's. You're not actually robbing McDonald's because McDonald's is
They
not
don't
a
like to
fast
cover
food
that
store.
shit.
Well, no, how it works. Well, this
Franchisees, yeah.
well, especially McDonald's in particular. Not that I think people really like large scale rob McDonald's anyway, but rob McDonald's
Give
specifically.
me 100 Big Macs now.
Yeah,
Your
right.
head's gone if you don't.
Um,
No pickles. For every pickle I have in a Big Mac, someone dies.
yeah, right. The McDonald's is not a fast food company. They're a real estate company.
They're a fast food conglomerate.
No, not even that. They literally like the vast majority of the company has nothing to do with food. It's all about real estate. They have
Ooh.
like the best experts on this on the planet working night and day to find the most opportune corners of um or any other type of location
Yeah,
and that
min-maxing profit based on geographical location.
right, then they buy that plot of land, build a McDonald's, and then find someone to buy the franchise for a specific amount with a very, very, very specific contract that basically has a all but guarantee certain amount of guarantee return to the franchisee. It's considered an extremely safe investment to buy it. It's like you throw down like $35,000 or something like that. It's probably more than that, but that's like the last number I remember hearing. You throw down this amount of cash, and then you basically take over managing that, and you are basically guaranteed this margin of percentage of return because you have to follow like this exact step by step program on how to run everything.
everything.
It's all figured out for you. Everything's
Mhm.
figured out for you. You don't have to do it's
Yeah, you
basically
can go in
auto
with
running.
zero experience, but
Right.
there's probably a high chance they won't take you if you have zero experience. I don't think
Yeah,
you can just show up
basically.
with the money and they'll take you. Still like a full interviewing process. Shit.
I mean, yeah, probably. But the point is that if you were to rob a McDonald's, the person you're actually robbing is actually the guy that bought the franchise. 85%, it's like yeah, it's between 80 and 85% of all of McDonald's locations are owned.
You can do that pretty easily too.
What's that? Rob a McDonald's?
No, like get a McDonald's franchise it because it's like even if you don't have any money really, like if you get accepted for the franchise and you go to a bank and say, "Hey, I just got accepted to franchise a McDonald's. I need a loan to pay for that, and then I can pay the loan back." I can never see a scenario where they say no to that because McDonald's, I assume, is just so tried and true. Like you're gonna return that money.
I
There's like
mean,
very little chance that does not go well
probably
for the bank.
do
I
some.
don't ever remember seeing a McDonald's go bankrupt, like close. I've
I
never
think
seen a
I
McDonald's close.
I
I've seen
think
them open millions of times.
I think I have seen a single out of business McDonald's, but it
Yeah.
was in like in the
Like
middle
you
of
already know
nowhere.
they min max the location, and it's already McDonald's, so like it's a pretty guaranteed investment, I'd say. So I can't imagine a bank saying no. So if you have no money and you get a yes to that, you get everything taught to you while you're getting already making money from it, right? And the location is already min maxed to be the best possible location, right?
Hmm.
And you can just take out a loan for that, and it's already so set and true that there's a very small chance that you fuck it up and you can't pay that loan back. You know,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty
once you pay
much.
that loan back, you can be pretty much set for a very long portion of your life. You know.
Yeah, that's basically how McDonald's is set up so that on the flip side, they can offshore all their liability onto the franchise owners. If something does go wrong, it's on the franchise owner. It's very unlikely, but
The
that's how it
whole
works.
the scandal that went to the Supreme Court over coffee hotness.
Right, yeah, exactly. That was way more between the franchise owner and the woman, if memory serves. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, basically that kind of situation is what they have it set up for, so they can they offshore their liability because they have such a tried and true system that people are willing to take on the chance of the liability because the chance is pretty remote. But yeah, other companies have started realizing this and putting that same process to use in other ways, which is what Erudite here is describing. So yeah, a lot of stores, if you steal from them, you probably are stealing from your local economy and not
Yeah.
not the big guy.
Whoa, dude. I'm on the Daily Mail, like .co.uk, like just one of those news websites, and I'm just randomly reading the fucking massive list of ads on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Your risk of an STD is highest if you eat with a spork. 1 out of 10 days. CDC reveals.
A spork?
Yeah. CDC reveals.
That I call cap.
No way, bro.
Is that
Sporks
them
STD.
calling sporks gay? Is that what that means?
It must not mean what we're assuming spork means.
If you
But there's no
eat
way in hell
with a
I'm
spoon,
clicking that ad. It
yeah.
must be referring to something else that's not the spoon fork. It must be referring to something else. There's no way they could be referring to spoon fork giving you more STDs.
Well, okay, hold on. You know how you've heard someone say, I mean, I'm pretty sure you've heard me say it. Something something the sequel or two like X2 the Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, I've heard all the time.
Yeah, okay.
There's a magic deck that's meta right now called Snapcaster 2 Electric Boogaloo. Because there's a card called Boogaloo and a card called Snapcaster Mage. Those are like the two primary cards of the deck.
That you know what that means? That means Magic is racist, alt-right, far-right, fascist, and anti-government. You know why? Because Boogaloo now by itself means.
Careful what you say. The Pinkertons might show up. Be careful.
Please do. I'm thinking of renaming this
You
stream. I
know
think
exactly what I'm talking about, right? When I mentioned that.
Off the top of my head.
Pinkertons thing with
No.
Wizards of the Coast. The whole
No, I don't
Wizards of the
remember.
Coast essentially on accident sent a box of cards to a person who had purchased cards that were not supposed to have been released and had not even been announced yet. And that guy had the fucking Pinkertons. You know what the Pinkertons are, right?
Off the top of my head, no.
They're like they're like the most expensive possible like private investigators you can get. Like they're the most famous like almost like government level private investigators, like high level like black suits you disappear from existence level shit, right? The
Mhm.
fucking Pinkertons show up to this guy's doorstep and demand he returns the cards and any information he took of them. And there was like a whole huge scandal.
I vaguely remember hearing about
And
this.
when that happened, like the D&D Beyond lost like over 50% of its subscribers because of it. As like a fire back. So that's why I keep saying they're gonna send the fucking Pinkertons after you.
Come at me, bro.
Pinkertons knocking on your door. Oh, fuck. All the guy did was it's not even his fault. Watsy sent him the wrong cards on accident, and he made a post on Instagram being like, "Yo, what the hell? They sent me the wrong set. I don't think this one's come out yet." And then they fucking show up at his doorstep like he's the most heinous criminal ever, make his fucking family cry, like I've like fucking guns drawn as they knock on the fucking door. Like it was like awful. They did everything wrong that they could, and they pointed out everything they could about it in the thing.
Wow.
That could be a whole nother fucking stream, just looking at the Pinkertons deal with Wizards of the Coast.
How am I getting? I
mean,
am
well,
getting
that made
pinged.
my players quit playing D&D. He stopped playing in my D&D games because that happened.
Okay, that's dumb.
Yeah, I know that's extremely stupid. That's what I thought and said, but it did happen, and that was his reason. And I quadruple checked that he didn't just not like the game and was looking for an excuse to get out. No, that's his genuine reason. Is he thinks that Pinkertons thing was way too far, and he's completely boycotting anything WotC based. And so he dropped out of the campaign. That been going on.
You realize the thing that would do
that
more
doesn't affect
damage.
them whatsoever. Just don't purchase their stuff. Play in the game with your friends still.
Yeah, I haven't.
He refused. He was extremely stubborn on it. I didn't try any harder.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, you realize what
Like if it's
hurts
that
them
easy for you
more?
to just be like, all right, I'm gonna leave the game, then I'm not gonna put like 5 times the amount of effort in just to get you to stay. If you're not gonna put any effort in to stay yourself, like then I'm not gonna put my effort in to make you stay.
Oh, of
You
course.
know?
But it's like the thing that hurts them more is you to continue playing and like sharing like third party or like pirated stuff about them affects them more than you not playing at all.
Yeah, right.
I'm like I've not spent any money WTC's way in like man, I don't even know, so many years. Probably when I first got into D&D, I bought a bunch of the 3.5 handbooks. And like I don't think I've spent any money on anything to do with them since. And that was
What's the
back
company that runs Warhammer
Games Workshop.
games? I'm googling, are Wizards of the Coast and Games Workshop connected in any way?
No. Trust me, you would know. Both those companies are very protective about their IPs.
Mm-hmm.
They've had some
Okay, yeah, they're
crossovers.
competing companies. That's the thing.
Yeah,
Okay, they're competing companies. I was
right.
wondering, like, is there any chance that they're somehow both subsidiaries of some bigger company?
No,
Like,
they've
any
had
chance, or maybe they're like in some partner deal together. Because I know they've done crossovers a couple of times, but that's
right, like there's Warhammer magic cards, for example.
yeah. And there's some Warhammer models they released of Magic characters, just like one-offs to buy that don't actually have stats in the game.
Right. Yeah.
I saw a box on Amazon of like 5 planeswalkers, one of each color. It was like a Gideon, a Jace, Chandra, a Nissa, Gideon, Jace, Chandra, Nissa, and a oh come on, I know the other one off the top of my head. Liliana. There
Do
you
you
go.
though? Do you though?
I know my lore.
Uh-huh. But
Liliana
do you know the names of the Mornival off the top of your head?
of the who?
Yeah. That's like
The Mortival?
the Mornival.
Marnival. I've never even heard of
The
them.
Mornival. This is Warhammer 30k lore.
I want to play Warhammer 16k, damn it. Specifically 16k. Anything that comes from before and after is not legal in my tournaments.
What was even happening in 16,000 AD? I think that was
I
like the
just assumed humans
beginning.
were just fucking off and expanding.
Yeah, I think that was roughly
Making, hive
when
cities a thing.
Psychers started show. I think it's actually right around when Psychers started showing up in
Yeah,
humans.
they started to make hive cities. And that's
Yeah.
all they did for a while.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. I mean, basically
They just
everything
ended up making cities
before
into hive cities by fucking too much.
everything before like 25k is just like, yeah, we were expanding into space. That was about it. Because then
We're playing Warhammer negative 50k. It's just Call of Cthulhu in the modern.
well, no,
Why
that'd
don't you
be
just say that?
that'd be Warhammer 1920. Because here's the thing, 40k is for the year 40,000 AD.
Oh, I see.
Right. So like
So
it's
we would be 2k right now.
yeah, like if you when you play Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you're playing Warhammer 2K. Pretty much. Man, I actually why have I not been doing this? I should just call everything by that kind of like naming terminology.
Yeah,
It'd
just
be really
give it
funny.
a different date of Warhammer when it's anything that's like realistic, like gunplay or anything like that, war related shit.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is Warhammer 20 2030 or whatever. It's actually like 2.3k. 2.03k? 2.03k. Yeah.
What's the name of that game that Warhammer releases all the time? The video game, where you're like a first-person shooter and you go through like levels and you have a hub world, kind of like a class system.
Oh, you mean
Vermintide.
well, that's Warhammer Fantasy. Darktide is the 40k one. Vermintide is Warhammer Fantasy, where you're in medieval
Darktide
days.
is the other one? Okay,
Darktide
gotcha.
is 40k. So you have Warhammer Fantasy slash because Fantasy's technically dead. Now you have
I mean,
Warhammer.
Call of Duty Zombies is just Warhammer fucking.
Yeah,
Some a different version of Darktide. I'm playing
Pretty much.
Warhammer, 2K Darktide.
Warhammer 1.9k Darktide.
Yeah, 1.9K Darktide.
That's World War II. It's World War One and World War II. Yeah, and Cold War actually. Um, After a massive tangent, so about horrible problems in real life. Because you're not here for escapism, are you? That's not why we're here.
Disproportionately impacts the local general manager. The main person who will take losses isn't actually Target itself. It will be the locale. It'll be the general manager. Because often what happens in these corporations is essentially the general manager to some extent purchases and buys from Target and is affiliated with Target and gets like the support through Target. But the general manager is paid in large part out of the income of the store that they're managing as well. Right? So this is why there's a really lack of understanding.
The
and
general
the way
manager
that
for my store is
this
a
will
bitch,
work
though,
for
so fuck her.
Target as a corporation.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah,
Actually,
my manager was a bitch. My general manager of my store was a bitch, fucker.
my
She deserves any L's that came in her direction.
my first manager, the first manager, like the manager that was there when I first joined TJ Maxx was pretty bad. The manager I had for the last like 2.5 years was actually awesome. So that guy was
When
dubs.
that manager became the general manager, I stole a pack of $50 steaks.
There was jeez, what was that?
Sorry, I accidentally fucking swatted my microphone.
I
My bad.
sound like you hit the mic with a baseball bat, but anyway.
An earthquake! Earthquake!
Yeah, classic GTA move, hitting your audio equipment with baseball bats.
Sorry, somebody shot a 40 mic into my bedroom.
Fortunately, you're just
Happens
a
every once in a while. That's why you don't leave your window open in Oxnard.
yeah, it's a flashbang 40 mics.
Nine
Yeah,
bang out! Bah, 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 bah. Oh my god! POV, you play a
Is it
one
the
ring
general
deck. Ugh.
oof.
Sorry, I'm projecting.
manager can't stay on top of things like, say, he's got massive what we call shrinkage, because shoplifting is considered part of shrinkage, which is like the difference
So
between
does your
the scent
PP.
stock that they receive.
What?
She's mentioning major shrinkage, and I said, so does your PP. Move on.
Oh, oh.
received and the stock that the actual company has. And shrinkage is due to people misplacing items, like
Being
just
you.
staff scanning an item wrong, which happens. Staff stealing, so shoplifting, but from the store that you work for, and just general shoplifting. It's all
Hey, they
called
just mentioned
shrinkage,
me.
right? Target as a corporation has like a shrinkage that they account for all of their locations. But if certain businesses locally have higher shrinkage or their income is not competitive enough, Target can choose to fully pull out of a location. This is why shoplifting disproportionately affects your local economy. You're harming the general manager, who's usually a local person from your neighborhood, usually a middle class entrepreneurial type, the type that you want to be there, the type who you want opening businesses there. It costs them money directly, and it increases the likelihood that Target itself will pull out, which could cost jobs as well. And so, while there is a whole conversation to be had about price gouging,
My Ralph's had the worst
and
shrinkage of
wage theft
in the,
and
all of
time
America.
theft. There's a whole bunch of conversations about like
At the what?
The Ralph's I worked at as security had the worst shrinkage of all of American Ralph's. That one store, the worst out of all the stores in America in terms of. To put it in perspective, the shit I had to put up with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
What
Californian
makes my numbers
problems.
be make a little more sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, I already knew that, but yes. Yeah. It's like I said, you don't see pretty much anything remotely like that around
The
here.
top 3 worst ones are all in California.
Totally makes sense. I wonder if there's a reason for that.
The next
Hmm.
one's in Wyoming.
You know, that also makes sense.
Surprisingly, Detroit's only number 8.
Really?
Yeah, you'd assume the whole can't have shit in Detroit would carry over, but I guess you can have some shit. Guess you can have like hot dogs in Detroit. That's okay. I
Nah.
guess it's more people stealing the hot dogs from you after you left the store.
Yeah, they leave their stores alone. It's just
Yeah, they
once
wait
you're
for
on the
other people to
streets.
bring the groceries out for them, and then they mug it from them.
Yeah,
That way
it's-
you're really punishing the loyal man.
It's it's
Double
uh
down on the shit. On the shit.
well, no, it's
You're
just
really only
it's
hurting the
just
little man. Yeah, I wait for the personal guy to get out there and hug the fucker for his groceries.
yeah,
I'm
it's
not trying to
just
hurt the poor person.
homeless.
I love them.
It's homeless DoorDash.
You know how many crackheads I would be kicking out of the store, and they'd be like, I work security too. I'm also a security guard for somewhere. I know how it goes." And I'm just like, dude, if you worked for, nobody would ever hire you to fucking watch anything ever.
Yeah.
Nobody would hire you. Like, you just couldn't pay you to look at a wall, paint dry on a wall, so you'd fuck it up somehow. You'd like rub your hands on it when it wasn't dry yet, or like lean up against it and fucking shoot heroin. Anyways.
Good lord.
It's a feature.
Not a bug.
How corporations are probably doing a lot of bad with like all this stuff. We're not going to correct the course of this by like encouraging and defending shoplifting. Shoplifting, it's in no way, you know, defending the people. You're not Robin Hood. You're mostly just fucking over the local entrepreneur who's willing to start it. Hi, everyone. If you want, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull up our old friend Thought Slime, who's notorious for these talking points.
Oh god, are we gonna react to react to
some of the
react?
defense will be.
Yes.
Luckily,
Oh
in
my
response
god, he's
to
definitely gonna
Merrick's
pull up a
post,
video too and make
there
it
have
a
been
four-way.
a couple of lefties who came out saying this is not the grounds that we need to stand on. So that's good.
So, I still at some point need to finish adding that react section to the shoe and hit things, because now it's so far behind. I don't know if it's like still relevant, but I might still do it if I have some extra energy at some point. But like, it was me reacting to. Granted, this was somebody on my Discord suggestion, okay, but it was reacting to Asmongold reacting to Shoe on Head's video about the male loneliness epidemic, and I turned a 40-minute video into a 3-hour video, 3.5-hour video. I was gonna call it Reactception, the movie. Actually, this is why I wish I had an editor. Not even
Close the
just
window
that.
real quick.
How dare you?
There we go, much better.
So, this is why I wish I had an editor. Not only like this, but also like I know in the last like 4 streams I've had so many points that would have been great to just pull into a video. Like last night, we did. I say we because you know me and a few people in chat did my political compass. Did the political compass test. And I had some interesting conversation in it. And yeah, just a bunch of stuff like that lately. But I've not had any extra time or energy really hitting the grind. Although today, to be fair, I did not do much of any programming. Just, it's super rainy here. I had no energy right from the get-go. I think I've almost figured out the problem I'm having right now with my job, but it was a pretty meh day. Anyway.
Good. That's actually good to see.
Oh yeah, Thought Slime. Thought Slime, I'm gonna tell you, Sai, right off the bat. I have not had a lot of exposure to Thought Slime, but the little I've had has been met with revulsion. I do not think very highly of this man. I think it's a man. You know, I am not completely certain.
They mostly argue it from like an optics standpoint than like a moral standpoint, but you know, take your W's where you can, right? Well, if the businesses don't exist, they can't steal from their workers and local businesses. Local entrepreneurs get treated too much like holy cows. It's not about treating them like holy cows, but the reason local entrepreneurs are so valuable, again, if you're a socialist who cares about the working class and whatnot, local entrepreneurs are the things that bring wealth to local economies, right? Entrepreneurs are some of the most valuable people.
I mean, honestly, as either, if you are good faith, whether a socialist or a capitalist, yeah, entrepreneurs kind of are your holy cow. You're your golden goose or whatever. Because it's those that are successful out of that group of people that are turning into the rest of your economy. Because, like, the whole communist thing of, like, you know, workers need to own the means of their production, yeah, no, it comes back to the chicken and the egg situation, where it's like the workers have no job without the entrepreneur there to begin with to make the job. At least, like, modern day socialism seems to have, like, sort of kind of figured that part out. But yeah, if you're actually trying to get anything out of the economy, yes, the entrepreneurs are your golden cow. They are, or holy cow, or whatever. Like, you require them. It's non-negotiable. So you need to not screw them over any way you can figure out.
Yeah. I found something. Mon ami, imagine we're not in the 19th century, but in the future where battles are fought, we mighty warriors power just machines. Picture this. We have a bunch of tough guys in yellow armor, the Sons of Terra, and their boss, Captain Agnes Dornan. They're the knights from the future, so first things first, we build a big wall defense line, Terra. It's make me a 40k 2k point Space Marine army, give all the units personal names and strategies, develop and explain a combat strategy, use this army to win. Do all of this as if you were Napoleon Bonaparte.
Oh, you actually did it.
Yeah, I did it. This is, yeah, I'll send you what I got. It's fucking just like a 2 or 3 paragraphs of gas for later or whatever. But anyways, too funny not to say it. I just had him do the battle strategy part since the actual army doesn't matter. It's just the funny shit he said. Our regular troops, tactical squads, Leonides, and Ajax ride around in rhinos like chariots. They grab flags and stuff. And they're all protected by our flying machine, the Storm Raven Invictus. It's like our dragon.
It's like our... What does that mean?
Because you know he's Napoleon Bonaparte. So big flying machine, it's like his dragon. I don't know.
He
it's
never
funny that we don't
had a
have that
dragon.
shit
I don't
right
know. That's... Okay. I mean...
Squad Achilles heel. Now we've got our jump pack guys, Assault Squad Achilles heel. They're like our sneaky ninjas. They jump around and make the enemy dizzy. Awesome.
What?
Thank you, Napoleon. This is his Warhammer strategy, bro. This is how his army's gonna win.
Assault squads are anything but sneaky, but okay. They're louder.
Use this-
They're the loudest infantry there are. They come rolling in.
Terminator Squad. Therompyli.
I mean, at
They
least,
can
like,
teleport like magic. They wait backstage, and when things get hairy, they pop in and save the day. Is that accurate?
sorry, say the beginning again.
Terminator Squad. Thermopylae.
Thermopylae?
Thermopylae, yeah.
You know, like the 300 battle?
Squad, Thermopylae. These
Thermopylae,
guys
but
teleport
anyway,
like
yeah.
magic. They wait backstage, and when things get hairy, they pop in and save the day.
So, okay, for the most part, it's not doing that bad.
However,
Like, Terminator squads, their big thing is that they have the ability to do teleport strikes from where they're usually posted in a spaceship in orbit. They're able to do that because their super heavy armor like allows them to withstand the process of teleporting. Assault squads do jump around a lot and are the melee guys. However, they are the opposite of stealthy in every regard because they literally have effectively two rocket thrusters on their backs, and then they're usually using chain swords. So they have chainsaws. So literally, It's not this is the perfect actualization of the concept of stealth by complete overwhelming noise. You can't tell that someone's there because you can't tell anything's anywhere because all your sensory input has been completely overwhelmed by the complete blinding quantity of noise you are experiencing.
I read a little bit further. We're patient, like waiting for your cake to bake. We let our enemy come to us, and we never pick a fight we can't win. We're like cats playing with a mouse. Slowly but surely, we grind them down and take their stuff. The final paragraph.
What?
So, in a nutshell, we're like knights in shining armor, defending our fortress, while also being sneaky ninjas and teleporting wizards when we need to. Victory is ours through patience and cunning, just like the old Napoleon would have wanted.
Okay, so
Should I put all of this into a Napoleon Bonaparte voice AI thing and have him read it?
if you can pull that off, sure. This sounds like
Oh, I already
ChatGPT
have it pulled up.
got really confused by the fact that the Raven Guard exists and are very stealthy while still being Space Marines. That's what this sounds like. Because, yeah, they're like Space Crusaders and Space Knights, but then you have the Raven Guard that are stealthy, doing their own thing. And it just kept
It's
trying
generating. It's
to...
gonna take 6 minutes to generate.
Right. It just kept getting confused by the Raven Guard existing, basically.
Hmm. Can't say that. Never mind. It's just like a really racist quote from Napoleon Bonaparte because of the times. It's
Yeah.
just so blunt and straightforward. Like, oh, okay, I can't say any part of that without like canceling everything.
We're getting cancelled!
No. That fucking clip. Dude's playing like GTA. He sees a helicopter come out of nowhere, start crashing the ground. He goes, "Kobe Bryant!" It explodes. He goes, "Ah, fuck, I'm canceled."
It's not a good stream until you've been cancelled.
Kobe Bryant. Oh fuck, I'm canceled.
At least that's... yeah, basically if you're doing anything politics based, it's not a good stream unless you've been cancelled.
Yep. Alright, while that generates.
People in a local space, right? They're the ones bringing businesses, and if you have enough businesses that are established, you'll bring new residents, right? Local entrepreneurs are really valuable. I'm not saying that they can do no wrong, but fucking over local entrepreneurs to fuck the elite and rich doesn't help anything. It's counter to the entire purpose of the goal, which is fucking the rich, according to leftists, right? Are you a content creator or just a low-level digital redistributor? Good question. Both, Soy. Both. All right.
But shoplifting is not really that kind of circumstance, is it? It's a bit of a gray area. That's the type of crime that virtually everyone has at least some experience with, even if they've never done it themselves. So everyone's got an opinion on it, and it can get pretty heated. Oddly enough, a lot of shoplifting discourse seems to get heated specifically because somebody made a comic strip about shoplifting, either a good, based comic, or a bad, cringe comic. And, you know, someone makes a comic you disagree with, you don't gotta be shitty to them, just leave them alone.
Can we pause
Everyone
that and see
agrees that
what
there are,
comics
of
he was
course,
calling
times when it is...
based and cringe? And see if we agree. Disagree. It's like freeze frame it when they come up.
There are, of course, times when it is morally permissible
Right
to
here.
steal. If you're starving, nobody
Oh, I think it was
Oh,
before
no, it's
that.
past it.
Yeah, I want to go back. Isn't there a way to...
You just do a 1 minute back type with your arrow keys.
Well, not just that. There's a way to do it like frame by frame.
Space, space, space,
You
space,
know,
space, space. I'm not going
someone
back.
makes a comic you disagree with, you don't gotta be
Oh, it's right before this. Oh, hey, here we go. Okay. Alright, so we kind of got a little bit of one.
Yeah, full
The
screen,
garbage
you
at
can see it.
these... Oh, it's gonna mess up my cropping, but yeah. The garbage...
Oh damn, the quality.
Yeah.
I'll be the guy on the left. You be the guy on the right.
on
Full of
left.
garbage.
Yeah.
They have these poor workers recite.
Thank you for being a guest at Dick Art Materials. Sign up for our loyal members program and save on blah blah blah.
Sweet beans, man. Stuff's a bunch of shit. That's based and pilled. That you talk to the cashier, say, "Oh, that's cool. Oh, they gotta. All these programs gotta recite garbage." He says, "Oh, hey, we're saving a rewards program," and then they get to steal a bunch of shit and leave. That's cool and based, apparently.
I can't tell what it is they're supposed to be stealing exactly. The other one's like, I don't shoplift because I need to. It's not like I need basic necessities or whatever.
Yeah, and then the Bob is looking at him, cringing, like it's looking at him judgingly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, okay.
Yeah, but I can't
Got
tell
it.
what she's supposed
That's
to be
them
stealing.
stuffing a bunch of shit into their bag to steal it.
Well, no, I get that, but like I'm trying to figure out if
Not all
that's
their
supposed to
batteries.
be some kind of context to like make it quote unquote reasonable or whatever. But I don't know. I can't see it.
Cringe comic. And, you know, someone makes a comic you disagree with, you don't gotta be shitty to them, just leave them alone. Everyone agrees that there are, of course, times when it is morally permissible to steal. If you're starving, nobody expects you to just die about it. Most people
Everyone
would
does
not
not
judge you
disagree
for
with
stealing
that.
a loaf of bread to feed your hunger.
Yeah, we're like just coming to the point where I stopped yesterday.
Try doing
I
that
did.
in any Islamic nation, you'll have your hands chopped off in a moment. Fuck you, fuck your kids, fuck your bread. Don't steal shit.
Also, yeah, I'm kind of in agreement on that. Like, what
It's
terrible,
America. We don't share land here.
what bad decisions were you making that led up to that point? And also,
You
why
can't
aren't
just
you
say
trying to
everybody.
find a job? Like,
You can't just be like everybody agrees that Hitler was correct in some ways. You can't just say shit like you can't just be like everybody agrees to this absurd statement.
I've come
And
to
then
the
cackle and move
position.
forwards.
I've come to the position where the only thing you can say 100% of humans do is breathe.
I was gonna say commit oxygen to the other one.
What?
You know, shit plants like to fuck with.
Carbon dioxide?
That's it. Motherfuckers be converting oxygen to carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
That's like my gang like symbol, so like to prove that you're in our gang when you see one of the other ones.
Ugh. Okay. I don't get it. It's fine. It's fine. We're moving on.
Hungry family. Everyone except, like, the food professor, of course. But, you know, reasonable people wouldn't hold that against you. So for the sake of arguing...
Now only reasonable people agree with that sentiment. Okay.
Got it. So now everyone in this video believes they're reasonable. You know, this is why retarded like ideas come into state. They're just dumb, stupid ideas come into being. It's because they surround themselves with people that whenever they say something stupid, all of them go, "Oh hell yeah, man! Damn right, on gang, bro, on fucking gang." And it's like it just makes them do it more often because they get like that positive reinforcement to it, and they just surround themselves with motherfuckers who do that every time they do it. And so they get this idea that it's an okay thing to do because every time they do that shit, they're like, "On gang, hell yeah, man, on gang." It's like you watch the whole Sneeko versus Sorry, I'm getting a phone call.
What? Is he about to mention a political debate streamer? I know who he is, but I don't watch his content because he's kind of an idiot. Well, there's a chance I might have seen it. Just because it's like a versus thing, so depending on who the opponent was, I might have seen it. It has been super quiet for a Friday. It is either poppin' or dead on Fridays, and apparently today it was dead.
I'm back. Where was I?
Sneeko.
Yeah, so the Sneeko versus like Moist Charlie thing where he or Moist Critical thing where he was like waving a gun around and shit. Well, when Kai Cenat was watching that and reacting to it to the first time, he was literally going, "Okay, man, okay, dog, okay, you tell him," and it's like because they surround themselves by people like that, it's just this emanating infinite loop ring of fucking stupid, dumb shit.
You know we have a
It's the only
term for
reason,
that.
like, this guy and his whole community it's just another one of those. They're all just giving themselves positive reinforcement to their own stupidity, like, and then that makes them think it's not stupid because there's so many people giving them positive reinforcement for saying stupid shit. So they go around saying stupid shit, thinking that's just how everyone speaks and acts like a human being. Like, no,
You know there's a term for that.
basically tabletop viewer.
Correct. True. True. Pilled. Based. No, echo chamber. It's called an echo chamber.
Is it? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
echo chamber, fucking everywhere for everything.
Mm-hmm.
That's all this guy in this community is. It's just one big echo chamber yelling into itself.
Yeah. Yeah, like you need to
Almost
You
annoys
need
me that
to
people make
talk-
content reacting to him because it's like the best thing you can possibly do is ignore the shit out of him and hope it just dies out and nobody watches it. Like that's the only thing you can do. Reacting to it and saying this is terrible, this is awful, this is bad is the opposite. Is not gonna
actually
ignore the fucker.
I'm of the opposite opinion. I think bad ideas should be as visible as possible so everyone can look at and come to the majority reasoning that this is a bad idea. And that
Sort of
way,
proven wrong though, because people do that, make bad ideas, and say negative publicity stuff on purpose all the time. Because negative publicity is still publicity. There's been multiple video games that were very important on the like core of this stuff, where it's like negative publicity is still publicity. So they do a bunch of negative and horrific and awful shit that obviously people are going to have a big problem with because it's still publicity. The best way you can have those things that you don't like not be around is to just ignore them. If everybody who doesn't like it ignores it, then if enough people don't like it, then I guess it's a thing that shouldn't be around, you know?
well, that's what I'm saying is what happens when you have it being visible. I'm not saying reinforce it. What I'm saying is like I'm anti like censorship. Like censorship is not the way we ignore things. We ignore things by seeing the thing, talking about the thing, realizing it's bad, and then moving on. Does that make
I'm not
sense?
speaking of censorship, I'm speaking of like choosing to ignore them. You know,
Oh.
not giving them the time of day.
Well, okay, does that include like deplatforming? Like what's your stance on deplatforming?
What does that mean?
So, okay, for
Like
example,
when you remove the jump levels in Mario?
no. No, when you remove someone's platform to speak. So, like, for example, someone's making content on YouTube, and YouTube decides they don't like this guy's politics, so they kick him off. But then that guy just makes an account on Rumble and just keeps on going. But he's been deplatformed on YouTube. Him and his ideas are not allowed to exist on that platform. That's deplatforming. So for example, I can actually give a real world example.
It depends on what YouTube deplatforms, you know. Obviously some shit's worth it, but some
Well,
shit's not.
Well,
I
that's
definitely see them doing it to the wrong thing and it being a bad thing now. If
Well,
it's done to the right
it's-
things, it could be good.
well,
Completely left up to how
what-
people uses that power.
what's like okay, like what's an example of a good use case for deplatform?
Nazi propaganda.
Okay, why?
Because it's literally fucking illegal.
But the fact that it's illegal, that's what I'm talking about because
it's also it's
well,
also
well,
Nazi
here's-
propaganda. It's
well-
not a very good thing to play the devil's advocate on.
I'm not playing devil's advocate for the Nazism. I'm talking about remember what I said about you keep it visible, and that way people can see it, understand it, learn about it, know why it's bad, and then know what it looks like, and then they're able to move on and not
Germany-
fall into that later.
Germany, India, Ukraine, and Russia all disagree with you.
That's
They all
fine. A
say it
lot of
should
people.
not be in view. They all say, oh, nope, it is illegal to do so. Oh, you
Okay,
know what the
okay.
fucking call was?
What?
I now have jury duty in the month.
Brilliant.
Pog. I'm
Um,
gonna fart in court. That'll be me contempt of court.
there you
Best
go.
way to go down.
So, okay, here's the problem with that though. Then the next generation comes in, doesn't know anything about Nazi propaganda. They get disenfranchised one way or another, and then who's willing to accept them
Maybe
and
I made it too
feed
broad of a
their
term. I'm
hate?
not talking about somebody putting an old piece of Nazi propaganda up as a historical piece to keep like solidified and such, because those are on YouTube and you can find them. I'm talking about some dude who shaved his head, put a swastika on the top of it, comes out and starts screaming negative things about Jews into the camera, and like it cuts a freaking swastika on his Jew friend's chest, you know, like some just shit like that, you know. I'm not talking about some historical piece that's being like put
Well-
there on display as a thing that had happened in history, you know. It's a very different case. So you're saying
Okay,
I should be
I'm
taking that
saying-
video and being like, look at him, look at him.
Well, okay, for example, because actually the instance I was gonna bring up as like the real life example, I have two actually. So one is, have you heard of Nick? Is it with an L or R? Fuentes, one of the two. I think it's Nick Fuentes. Have you heard of this guy?
Never heard of it.
Okay, Nick Fuentes or Fuentes, however you say it. I think it's Fuentes. Yeah, hold on, let me try googling him real quick. Nick Fuentes. There's no actually. I'm just adding a letter for like no reason. Nick Fuentes. Okay. Nick Fuentes is a politics streamer that has been deplatformed to the point that he can't even get bank accounts. Why? Because he is like almost everything is stereotypical what you would think a stereotypical Nazi would be into, except for like actual like Nazism. So he's like far alt-right, race realism, wants like cultural racial segregation, all this like crazy stuff. But he's very, when you talk to him, he sounds super reasonable. He doesn't scream and run around and like yell at stuff. He can hold his own in a debate or argument. He has a very like he's very conversational. Like, you know, he just sounds like you or me right now. Like he doesn't sound crazy. He's not foaming at the mouth. But if you listen to his ideas, he's like off his rocker. But I personally would not deplatform him. Why? Because if people are going to have these kinds of ideas, and they're going to keep having these kinds of ideas because the ideas exist at some point, so at some point someone's going to have the idea again, we need to be consistently having the conversation of why is this not a good idea, and go at it logically and put logical arguments against these kind of ideas, because at the end of the day, I don't think any idea, when kept within a conceptual space, is necessarily bad. It's when you try to apply it that then ideas become good ideas or bad ideas. Right? When you test an idea is when you learn if it's a good idea or a bad idea.
POV you talking.
Yeah. But it's like Warhammer, right? Warhammer 40k lore is some of the darkest, most brutal, horrific, and like dehumanizing, anti-human, like complete horror shows. Absolute trauma fest. That's the whole point, right? Everyone's a bad guy, super totalitarian, like everything terrible you could ever think of, and like taking it to X10. But like a bunch of people love it. Why? Because it's completely held within the conceptual space, right? There's a fundamental difference there. But and through that lens, we give ourselves leeway to then consider super horrible ideas, like say
No
eugenics, or like no Russian. That actually happens in Warhammer all the time, basically, where it's like, hey, all these people, it's for a good cause, but all these like innocent civilians, they gotta die. There's good logic. There is sound, true to reality logic as to why all these absolutely innocent people have to die. And that happens in Warhammer all the time. And you know what? Yeah, no, those innocent people gotta die sometimes because, you know why? Demons. Demons exist. And that's why I gotta die. So, you can then explore these ideas. And then when it comes to like real world politics, how are you gonna know what if an idea is good or bad until you talk it out in the thought experiment? Like, okay, what would happen if we were to make this into policy? Let's play it out, right? And you can't do that really if just a whole bunch of swaths of topics are just put off the table. Obviously, or maybe it's not obvious, but I'll just state it outright. I am super against anything to do with race anything. Like, I think the entire topic is absolutely stupid. There's no real utility whatsoever. Everything breaks down to cultural differences. When you remove the cultural differences, everyone's more, basically the same. Right? Like, it then comes down to differences on an individual person level. And that seems to bear out in real life, best I can tell. Yada, yada, yada. However, the physical differences of looking differently exist. So people are going to keep having this idea that there might be some significant actual difference that needs to be considered, even though there isn't. So we need this idea to remain on the table because of that. It's kind of like how there will always be wealth inequality because of differences in outcomes, because of differences in personal priorities and decisions, right? So no matter what opportunities or beginning points or advantages we give, everyone is still going to come out to different outcomes. There's always going to be wealth inequality. So we will always be having that conversation of what do we do about it, or is it even bad in the first place? I think it's a feature, not a bug. But a lot of people think it's like the worst thing since Satan. So you have to be able to have that conversation. If you just like make socialism as a topic, just a banned topic, then you can't have that conversation. You're just going to create like these underground socialism cults or communist movements. Oh, wait, we've done this before. We've seen how this works. Like, and that's what's happening right now. You got all these like, neo-Nazi underground cults because they're not allowed to talk and have the non-mentally disturbed members, right? The people that ended up there because of just bad things in their life, just made them vulnerable to believing the topic, right? Like I said, disenfranchised young men, for example. But then they're still able to consider other ideas and have good faith conversations. They can't have the conversation because no one will talk to them. They're not allowed to talk anywhere. They're not allowed to converse and have back and forths with the average populace on platforms, like debate panels or what have you, because those topics are straight up just banned. Like you can't have those debates on YouTube. You can have them on, say, Rumble or Kick or whatever, but you can't have them on like YouTube and Twitch. And it's like, wait a second, that disempowers people. Like, you can have acting on certain concepts illegal. We have a bunch of those already. Like, hate speech is already illegal. Vandalization is already illegal. Assault, battery, slander, libel, murder, inciting violence, those are all already illegal. Why are we taking specific topics and doing the same with them? You kind of see how that's a problem?
Yeah.
Right? So that's why, like, censorship, deplatforming, and just writing off people based on their ideas wholesale off is just I don't think it's productive. Not if we're gonna have like a free society based on free speech and free markets, and it includes a marketplace of ideas. You know,
Mm-hmm.
can you tell I have this conversation a lot? um, because man, some people have a real hard on for censorship. It's like, I don't want to deal with any, or well, what is it's usually projection. They're like society should not have to deal with any of this, and it's like no, you don't want to deal with this. I want to deal with this because I think we're all better for nutting up and like dealing with this. There are bad ideas out there, but that means all the more we have to discuss them and figure out why exactly they are bad, not just take it on goodwill, because then there are always going to be people like me that are going to be wondering why, and the fact you're telling me I'm not allowed to know why makes me want to know harder. And thus I was an anarchist for a very long time.
Let's ignore shoplifting that is done strictly to survive. We
Oh yeah, so it comes back to what he was saying about, reasonable people. No, like that's yeah, like you were originally saying, but also not only can we not give in to echo chambers, but if anything, we have to go to the opposite and talk to our enemies as much as possible. Because it's where we're going to learn the most, or have the most chance of learning, is if we have good faith, at least on our end, good faith conversations with our enemies. Talking to you, communists. I'm coming for you.
Fuck, I gotta hide.
Yeah, dirty commies.
can agree on that much, I think. I'm not really interested in appealing to the type of trash brain who wouldn't agree with that. If you
Like we were just saying.
think people should die rather than steal a loaf of bread, I just gotta question your moral priorities. Likewise, I think most people can agree that stealing from small businesses is, at the very
Bold to assume I have moral priorities. I don't deal with morals. I work with ethics. I don't mess with morals. Morals are dumb.
Yeah.
Because morals is just whatever you think is good. Ethics have some kind of like logical framework behind them.
least, less defensible than stealing from big corporations. Obviously, not all quote-unquote small businesses are created equal, but there's clearly a difference between stealing from a local business and, like, Best Buy. We could get into a whole discussion about gentrification here, and how small business is a term that's often used as a smokescreen for a sort of petite bourgeois assimilation of places that poorer people had once lived. Nothing is simple, everything is complicated, but generally, we can agree, I think, that it's worse to steal from Dave's Cool Soup Store than from Walmart. So, we will focus here on stealing from big corporate chains, since that's what most people tend to argue about anyway. That's one concession per side of the debate, which
Okay, can you do me a favor? And
Yeah.
if you ever hear me say something akin to the, like, I think we can all agree, or some kind of sweeping assumption of, yeah, of like mass agreement on a thing, can you call me out on it? Because that's just incorrect. That's it. That's all I wanted to say. Just be like, hey, no, that's not. No one agrees on everything. That's not a thing. Or no one agrees on any. No. Never has everyone agreed on anything. Yeah, there we go. That's a better way of putting it.
which should equal out, but I'm sure will make both sides feel as though I'm selling them short. From henceforth, unless I specify otherwise, when I say shoplifting, I am referring specifically to stealing from a big corporate chain for fun and or profit, or some reason other than strict necessity. Is that the most typical form of shoplifting? Probably not, but it's the one that I'm most interested in arguing about. Once again, even if, hypothetically, I believed that shoplifting was based and or slime-pilled, I could not advocate for it directly. Even if I could, I'm not sure I'd want to be responsible for you making that kind of choice on account of jail. Whether or not I think shoplifting is ethical kind of puts aside the issue of whether or not it is a good idea to do. Please use appropriate caution and do not base major life decisions about what crimes you should or should not commit based on what a YouTuber talking head told you. This is an opinion piece. So it's not, you can't show this video in court. They won't accept it. Pro shoplifter people.
Based animators.
And full disclosure that
It's a wrong opinion.
I will say I will give him absolute credit for being responsible in saying, hey, you should not make any, like, actual decisions based on anything I said. You know what? I agree.
I see him as being worse for it because I feel like that's not a thing he decided to do out of the good of his heart. I feel like it's something he felt like he needed to do because his lawyer would have told him off for it.
Okay, but I mean, like,
I feel like that statement is nothing but like corporate whoring. Like you shouldn't have to say that to begin with. The only reason he's saying that is because he's worried about getting in trouble for it, not because he actually shit.
okay, but to be fair, every time I've talked about, like, say, crypto or investments or real estate, I've said, like, listen, this is not me giving financial advice, okay? Don't actually do things I'm doing because I said it.
Yeah, but even if they do, it's not like you can get in any trouble for it.
I view it...
Police, he gave me bad advice on investments.
Well, I'm not... Well, here's the thing. I don't say it to keep me safe. I say it to remind people that I am not, like, an expert in anything I talk about, basically, unless I say I'm an expert. And even then, like, I don't know, I guess I'm an expert in painting. I don't even know if I'm actually expert level in painting. I'm pretty good in painting. I don't know if I'm expert level.
I'd say you're almost one step past, like... Apprentice?
Past who?
Maybe Adept.
I mean, Adept could be like 30
Adept
different
maybe
people.
in another 35 years.
Oh, okay, I thought you were trying to name someone. Said so slowly.
I was more thinking of the difficulty levels in Skyrim. It goes Apprentice, Adept, Intermediate, Master.
Oh, I'm around Adept. Oh, excellent.
No, you're between Adept and Beginner.
Oh,
Apprentice. Between Adept and Apprentice.
it's not.
Like, you understand the basics of painting, but you still don't have any techniques down. You rely on the airbrush and the special model paints too much. You really don't have any special techniques you do, you know? You use white too much. You use black paint too much.
Okay.
You use the prime colors too much.
Okay.
Just everything
I
possible.
I don't
The
have.
model is always either too big or too small.
I don't have.
I don't like the length of your paintbrushes. It bugs me.
I'm not using a bottle of medium and the actual like powder pigments. Thus, I
you're
am not
mixing your
a real
pigments, and that
professional.
is just whoring towards being a corporate person, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Right. Yep.
Like, you know, when I want to use white paint, I go outside and mine some minerals like a normal person. But I mean, if you want to do your weird shit and buy it from a corporate company, then you do.
It's just
creepy,
so lazy, right?
right? Like, I want to get basing materials. You know what I do? I go grab a pile of fucking dirt and debris from outside.
You know what I'm a expert in? Failing at business. There we go. I've done a lot of that. I've spent
The only thing you've done multiple times.
I've spent many years failing at business. But yeah, it's like no, it's not even about me getting in trouble with like financial stuff. It's like I don't want other people to get screwed over because they were just jumping on my hype train of me, saying I'm doing this because I think from the couple things I've seen. Like, I'm willing to put my money on it. I'm not willing to put your money on it, though. It's entirely on you if you do whatever it is you do.
This guy is saying, like, I'm gonna go steal from stores. You shouldn't. I'm not saying you should. It's just like, I'm gonna go steal it. I'm not saying you should steal from these stores. But I'm gonna go steal from stores. Here are the store's addresses, dates, and times that I'm stealing from them. Here's what I'm gonna be wearing and driving on that day. Here's the route I'm taking to get there.
Right.
Here's
Listen,
the gun I'm gonna rob them.
Listen, I don't think the government should be a thing. I'm not saying you should do anything about it, but I'm gonna go do something about it.
I'm gonna take a katana and chase down the president. Put that on.
What,
record.
like,
I wanna
the-
be on a list. I'd be on my own list now. I just get on my own unique list for the FBI.
I think
People
you
who
did.
were worried about chasing down the president with a katana.
No,
Fuck, I have
that
a folder.
that
My FBI agent. Fuck, I gotta make another new folder.
that already
My
exists.
FBI
That
agent
has to
thinks
be
that every other
exist.
day.
No,
My
okay.
FBI agent thinks that every other day. Fuck, I gotta make another new folder.
No, you want a new list? Katana, like there's so many weeaboos. Katana's absolutely been done. You wanna do a whole new list? Okay. I'm gonna come after the I'm trying to think of like any other office at the top. But what's like because I've been watching so much Ukraine stuff, my immediately thought was the
Department of
ministry. Yeah, what is that, like the head of the Department of Defense? Is that what the top guy
I
there?
know this one. I know this one. Santa Claus.
I'ma hurt you. The
Just wait until the day that the U.S. is pushed to its limit, and they have to call in the elf backup squad. All the elves show up
Right.
as the last resort to defend us. Oh, I got a knock on my door.
man. Okay, what is the head of the Department of Defense? Secretary of Defense, that's what it's called. Okay. Who apparently is currently Lloyd J. Austin. I think technically saying you're going to do any of this is actually illegal, but it's not like this is recorded or held on the internet for forever or anything like that.
I've just received Taco Bell from out of the blue. No warning, no nothing. Just knock on my door, Taco Bell.
So it's the Secretary of Defense is the head guy,
That's what I said, Secretary of Defense.
and
Well, I said Department of Defense specifically, but
well, no, it's Secretary of Defense is the top guy in the Department of Defense. Is what I meant. I want to put this on record. I am saying this sarcastically for the or like in humor
he's lying,
for
he's
the
lying,
point.
He means this 100% sincerely. He's putting this on record for court under oath.
Because technically saying this with any level of legitimacy is actually illegal. This was recently proven by a case where a sheriff of Florida went after a guy in like Virginia that was calling for someone to kill a government official down in Florida on 4chan, and he tried saying in Minecraft at the end of it, and the sheriff was like, dude, that's dumb, that does not and never has worked. This is hella illegal. But what I was gonna say was Katana has so many weeaboos that's been in it. You want a brand new folder, you say I am facetious quote, I'm gonna chase down the Secretary of Defense with a Beck to Corbin. Okay. That's a whole new folder. You probably don't even know what a Beck to Corbin
I
is.
unmute my mic, you hear sirens. You did said it too loud! You said it too loud!
Right? I'm pretty certain I'm already in a couple lists, but yeah. Now I've made a new one. Do you know what Beck to Corbin is?
No. I'm gonna assume it's some kind of gun.
No, it's a pole arm. It's actually like a pole hammer.
Just like
A
I'm
flam
gonna go
bird.
driving on the freeway and turn into oncoming traffic and kill a family of 4 in GTA.
Yeah, it does not actually hold up in court, would you believe? Shocker. Anyway, back to the guy that's trying to protect himself because
In
he's
GTA.
gonna go shoplift. I mean, you live in GTA, so I guess it works for you.
This is the side I tend to
No,
be
it
more
doesn't
sympathetic
work for me
with.
'cause I
In
am
case you
in
couldn't tell
GTA.
already, we'll claim that anti-shoplifters are just bootlicking sycophants brainwashed into believing corporate propaganda. And if that's the case, maybe then we should try to be a little sympathetic to people who are affected by said propaganda, because I don't think it makes a lot of sense to get angry at someone for believing something they have been brainwashed about. Anti-shoplifting people tend to argue that shoplifting is bad for the vulnerable employees of large corporations, that the cost of shoplifting trickles down and harms innocent people, that shoplifters may believe their crimes are victimless, or at the very least, the victims of their crimes are people who kind of deserve it, but that's just a convenient excuse to justify doing whatever suits their selfish impulses. Right away, I think we can see some common ground here. Putting aside, for now, the issue of who exactly, if anyone, is hurt by shoplifting, it seems like we all...
All right, a bunch of you are gonna dislike his takes. And hold on, before you conservatives get your willies off, okay? I'm gonna come at you with some hard statistics that we need to deal with.
Sticks
For
my
example,
willy back on.
wealth inequalities and how it leads directly to crime. How as as inflation goes up, so does shoplifting, okay? These are very real issues, and shoplifting just isn't just as simple as being like, just don't do it, man. Obviously, it is as far as the actual action, but it's a much more complicated conversation than just being like shoplifting bad, and if you shoplift, that's the end of the conversation. Even though shoplifting does f the local economy the most, even when you steal from large corporations. This was released almost a year ago. I'm just coming back to it since it's relevant again. Why don't the firms just employ more security? Why do they offload it to the police? Well, a lot of these companies are paying for more security. So there's a whole bunch of new shops that are popping off that basically all of their inventory is behind gates, and to get...
You know, I think these guys should just hire more security guards. That should solve the problem. What do you think?
Like they can do anything about it? They need to hire cops that sit on the property. Then something that might actually happen. It doesn't give a fuck how many security guards see it happen. A billion and one laws placed prevents them from actually doing anything.
Oh no!
You need to put cops that sit on the property.
Oh no! Here's the logic. You get enough security guards, and then the cops can't even get involved because they're just so incredibly outnumbered.
Body blocking.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. It's like, oh yeah, all right, coming in
Can you
like.
rewind the video 30 seconds and replay it? I was gonna talk about something but forgot.
Sure.
Just like hit the arrow key once.
As inflation goes up, so does shoplifting, okay? These are very real issues, and shoplifting just isn't just as simple as being like, just don't do it, man. Obviously, it is as far as the actual action, but it's a much more complicated conversation than just being like shoplifting bad, and if you shoplift, that's the end of the conversation. Even though shoplifting does f the local economy the most, even when you steal from large corporations. This was released almost a year ago.
All right, I don't remember what I was
coming
going to
back
talk
to it
about.
since
Never
it's
mind, moving on.
relevant again.
Okay, it was something I want to talk about. So screw you. I'm gonna talk now.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
Exactly. If the conversation does not end that way, then it was not a fruitful and good conversation by the standards of the internet. But okay, so what I like how she's framing this in that there is like more nuance to this than just saying don't do it. I think you can have a reasonable conversation where you have multiple levels nested inside each other. Like you have on the individual level, you go, well, you shouldn't do it, it's illegal, and we've agreed as a society it's bad, that's why it's illegal. And then we can talk about the other reasons why it's bad. But then on the other side, you can look at it on a macro level and be like, okay, well, shoplifting is happening. Let's look at why it's happening and then try to solve that so we have less instances of shoplifting being considered in the first place. So it's not just as simple as we should just, I don't know, start shooting shoplifters on sight, for example. Like, hey, that would solve it pretty quickly, right? Yeah, maybe not the best way.
I was thinking this morning, let's just put auto turrets on every exit of the store and put their face on the kill list if they steal anything. Problem solved. Nobody has to put up with those.
That's a lot of time you gotta spend dragging the bodies out for the pickup, though.
I'd rather spend 20 minutes dragging bodies than 2.5 hours arguing with a crackhead on property while I wait for the cops to show up.
Man. The man was more about how long it takes for the cops to show up. That's what the man was for.
It's all about my personal free time. And making my work shift as enjoyable as physically possible.
Fair.
When you're doing
Why don't
something
the
you know
firms
you
just
shouldn't be
employ
doing.
more security?
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, but what are you gonna do
At
about
that point, it's on you. Like, it's like my theory is to, like, if I have a tiny crack open into my window on the second floor and I'm like jerking off in my bedroom, it's like, yeah, technically someone, if they got the right angle, could look in and see that. But if you're like looking through the crack in somebody's bedroom window, then you're asking to see. You shouldn't. And at that point, I don't care. It's on you. It's on you if you see pee-pee in butthole.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Me standing butt naked on top of a skyscraper. It's on them if they're looking up here. It's on them.
Yeah,
There's still
Pretty
more than
much,
an hour
right?
left in this video. We're not even at the 1 hour point. Oh god.
uh-huh. Oh, you thought I was joking about 4 hours. I've done this before.
Why do they offload it to the police? Well, a lot of these companies are paying for more security. So there's a whole bunch of new shops that are popping up that basically all of their inventory is behind gates. And to get anything from the store, you basically have to like go through staffing.
Yep,
Which
my
is what some
grocery
people are
store,
going
all
to.
the alcohol was locked up.
They could
All the
pay for
hard
more
alcohol was
security.
locked up.
However,
Yeah, we had
Not like that at the grocery store that I actually live near right here, but the grocery store I work at, all of the alcohol was locked behind the key.
yeah, there's we had security tags on all kinds of merchandise back when I was working retail. And that was like I left retail back in 2016. It's only gotten worse.
You need security tags on the alcohol that puts a tablet of what's it called? Oh yeah, cyanide into the cup when they steal it. Security tag goes off, drops off the tablet of cyanide into there. You're stealing. If you're drinking stolen alcohol, then I mean you're doing something you know you shouldn't have done in the first place. So it's your own fault.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
it's charged for booby trapping.
well, the government did that as well, so, I'm not even joking. Back in the Prohibition, they actually did put poison into alcohol supplies to kill off a bunch of people that were breaking Prohibition and drinking. And it actually killed, I think, something like 13,000 people.
Jesus.
Yeah, American government, big W there, clearly. Yeah. Best part is, it did not have the intended consequences. People not only did not stop drinking, they actually just got better at making moonshine. Because it doesn't matter what you do, people are going to do what they want at the end of the day. It's just a matter of incentivizing them in more or less the best direction.
Me rolling up a joint with some tasty fentanyl mixed in.
Yeah, right.
What you got to do for it to kill you? Touch it.
My youngest sister is visiting for a few days from being at college where she's studying culinary nutrition, and this afternoon I was making jokes about radium. I was like, yeah, all things in moderation when it comes to diet, right? Like my daily amount of radium, or balanced amount of radium.
Your sister goes to one culinary class and comes back with a box of MSG. They were lying to us. It is healthy. It's in everything, I swear. McDonald's, KFC, you name it.
There's a video I watched a little while ago
Uncle Roger, no MSG.
on MSG. I don't know if it was true or not. I haven't researched the
A lot of MSG related
stuff.
shit is just bogus stuff from the past that's not true. That became general belief. It's used in fucking everything, bro. Every fast food place has MSG in almost everything.
Well, I know it's using everything. It was more where it came from and how it's based on. It's supposedly based on seaweed stuff, and it just chemically tricks the brain, but it's not actually like that bad for you, or even like necessarily. Here is what that video claim is, that it wasn't actually bad.
Taurine and Red Bull being bull cum. You ever remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That was super dumb.
It's bull semen! Me drinking it faster in the corner, hoping nobody notices.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm not jittering, you're jittering.
However, the issue is that like security isn't always a perfect solution to this thing, because as you get increased
not.
security, you
You
get
can't do anything.
increasingly sophisticated shoplifters, right? There's always
It's
ways
not
to
really
kind
the
of like
problem. You just can't
bypass.
do anything.
What if it was a not shoplifter, a security guard somewhere that was in California?
Fuck if I know. I've only been a security guard in California.
Security guard in Texas. They actually, I'm pretty sure this was like in South Africa, but I saw a video of a place where the security guard, it was like a little like what do they call those little shops?
Security guards in Texas are worrying about whether or not they bring slugs or buckshot into work today.
Well, what I was gonna say is that the guard in this place, like I said, I'm pretty sure this was in South Africa, was just
Oh, yeah, that's
hanging
always
out there
available.
with a pump action. Like he just had some
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of like
in Africa,
full-on
like,
shotgun.
people have rifles. India and Africa, a lot of the time, almost any store will have a security guard just with like a rifle in front.
Yeah, and I'm like, pretty based.
Based and pilled.
Based and pilled. True.
The security system. The main way, to be honest, if businesses wanted to just stop all shoplifting, then they should do what some businesses are doing, which is putting every single inventory item behind gates, so that only staff can directly hand it to you.
It's kind of hard to do that with a general grocery store. Though.
It's just slime. I'm gonna disagree with. So just to be clear, though, the person that I'm showing you right now, Thought Slime, is by no means like a pinnacle of thought amongst like far left people. Some people are going to be more extreme than him. Most people are much more reasonable than him. He's a pretty extreme, and my understanding is as a result of this video, there's a fair backlash about people being like, why are you encouraging people to shoplift? That's a bad thing to do. All right? So before you guys get excited, before the conservatives get excited, all right? It's not as simple as just like stealing bad, and that's the end of the conversation. Because we have to talk about the circumstances that lead to increased likelihood and incentivization for shoplifting, which I think Soy Prem already said, but one of the most commonly stolen items in grocery stores is baby formula. And the problem is, it probably started slightly as like a necessity single mom like thing, but now it's become like its own kind of Moloch's game where there's incentive to steal formula to resell it at lower price to the same people who might otherwise want to pay but can't afford the expensive, exorbitant costs of formula. So, needless to say, it's complicated. Hi, Wicked! Upholding legitimate commerce is a public good. Absolutely. Private security is a horrible solution. Ideally, the police should handle these situations.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
private
also
security,
security
the only
from
purpose that they
closet.
should actually hold is
What? What? I heard you speaking something that sounded like pause it. Where'd you go? Okay. I was actually about to ask, do you think... I don't think he's here. I don't think he thinks either, but that's a separate topic. Man, it's been super dead for the viewership numbers today. There ain't nobody around.
I have returned.
Oh, there he is. You left Race. I had a question for you.
Oh,
It was. I remember the question, but I don't remember what made me want to say it. Hold on.
Needless to say, it's complicated. Hi, Wicked. Upholding legitimate commerce is a public good. Absolutely. Private security is a horrible solution. Ideally, the police should handle these situations. Yeah, private security, the only purpose that they should actually hold is catching people who are actively shoplifting and then turning those people into the police. Not having like your own private police force at Walmart to like detain you and like do. I
yeah,
don't know,
they got that completely wrong. You don't even have the power to do. I do what she just said once as a private security guard. I am in jail for years.
What's that?
You know
Turn
what
them in.
the saying is?
Detain.
There's a very simple saying to what a security guard does: observe and report.
So,
Observe and report.
like detaining them and
No, you do not detain people. That is not something a private security guard does.
maybe not in California.
You
I've
are-
heard
you are
about people
told-
getting detained, like a bunch of
You
other
can.
people.
I was taught how to. I know how to do it. But I can detain someone as a private security guard as much as you walking down the street can detain somebody. And
Well,
at the end of the day, it's literally just a citizen's arrest. You get nothing special for being a security guard by any means. And it's like it's basically told like, yeah, you can do it, but this should be your last ditch resort because it's so hard not to get in trouble for it because you're making a citizen's arrest, which is like there's a million things you have to do right, otherwise you're getting fucking kidnapping charges, you know. So it's like it's not worth it to try. It's way easier to
Interesting.
stop. So it's like that's just a general security thing for the company that I was at. And the company I was at was not just a California company; it's a worldwide. They have like people in fucking Ugandan countries guarding boats and shit, right? Like Allied Universal was a company I worked for. Their main business is actually in like fucking African countries and stuff, protecting against like pirates and shit, like hardcore guys who are ex-military with guns and shit. And then they also have like an American branch that does like private security, right? So it's not like it's just a California company that has these weird special rules, you know. That's like it's like observe and report. That is what we do. You know, at the end of the day, if you have to detain someone, you have to detain someone. Like, you should never be put in a situation where like, and I worked security for the port of Waimimi, you know, like a military and civilian fucking mega port that you have, like, you have to get like a super clearance just to go through the front door. And even with that super clearance, I don't care how much clearance you have. I am asking you, where are you going and what are you doing? And if I simply don't like your answer, I can and will and have turn you around. And be like, all right, cool, then go away and come back and you have an answer for me. If I ask where are you heading and they just point in the direction of the board, I get pissed. I just tell them, go away, and I'll let you in today.
Ah,
Even at that level, I don't detain people. You know, if I have the gate closed in front of me and somebody is trying to drive forwards and I don't open it for them, I am detaining. I can be arrested for kidnapping. I don't open the gate that lets them into the port, but I have to open the gate that lets them turn around and I can't keep the gate closed and they force them to sit there, you know. I get charged for kidnapping, even if they have a reason to detain them, you know. Like, you are not detaining people as security guards. You are not stopping shoplifters. You stand there, you look at it. The manager of the store walks over to you and goes, "Hey, kick those people out of the store." And then you're like, I guess I gotta do something now. You walk over and you go, "Hey, you gotta leave." And then they're like, "No, I want to steal more." But they don't say that. They try to bullshit their way into being allowed to steal, one way or another. And then now I have to sit there and stand right next to this person and argue with them for upwards of an hour and a half until they leave the store or until the cops eventually get here. And let me tell you, after about 1 year of working that, the next 2 years, I would call the police before I even approach people. Because I knew it's best just to get the call in as fast as possible. And then even if it takes 45 minutes and they leave and the cops haven't shown up yet, then I just call in again and I cancel it.
so
There's a special non-emergency number you can do to call the dispatch.
right,
And if
it's
you
just
look
to
up the
report
non-emergency
things.
dispatch of any police station, and I just had the one that was out there. So I would call the non-emergency dispatch and be like, "Hey, the person refusing to leave, shoplifting and like trespassing, refusing to leave." They go, okay, yeah, we'll have an officer there soon as we can. And then usually an hour and a half or something like that would pass before the officer ever shows up. If they're still here by then. Usually they'll sit around and just be a terrorist for like an hour before leaving on their own and getting bored. And then they'll come back like another 2 hours later and do it again. Cops take an hour and a half to get there. It just repeats for 3 years straight. There's nothing you can do about it. And it's like, dude, the cops get pissed at you for calling so often too, and it's like, it's your fault that I'm calling so often. You are the ones who say that I can't do anything about it myself.
Well,
I would love
no.
to take care of this issue myself and just kick them the fuck out of the store physically and prevent them from being able to come back in. I would love to, but you're the ones who say that I can't do that. So you guys, I have to call you to come and do that for me.
It's
so you
not.
can't get
It's
mad at me for calling you to come and do that.
well. It's not the. It's actually not the cops. It's the legislators. There's
Well, yeah,
there's
know.
difference. Actually, we just went through this whole thing in Assie's game when we were creating our government for our little civilization thing, and it came down to we made a council of 5 seats, and we were talking about, is there a difference between the seat of security and the sheriff? And it's like, well, yes, because the seat of security, their job is basically lawmaker and judge in peace and field marshal in war, while the sheriff is law enforcement. They're not a lawmaker. We did not want those two to interweave, basically. Like, we had enough people where we did not have to have those be the same person. We could have someone that their job was to figure out and make the laws, and at least criminal law anyway. And then someone else would enforce the criminal law. Wait, you realize that's gonna be on screen way longer than you saying it out loud?
It's gonna be there forever now. That's the whole point. It's just gonna
Like,
be
I could
on
just
screen and
just
play.
turn that into
I
the
just wanted that
thumbnail
to be
now.
I just wanted that to be the context for everything else that we say. Alright, 1 second. I'm getting another knock at my door.
Yeah, unless like Zofiano or Venom shows up, or Diablo. Unless somebody shows up from the night crew. Which, I mean, at 10 o'clock, well, this is usually when Diablo shows up, right about now, roughly. Who knows? However, it's been so dead, a very dead Friday. Man, Friday's just always complete hit or miss. That worked easier than I expected.
Forever young, ever strong, ever brave. Memories like this never end, no, they don't fade away. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun. Close to the sun. Here's to the ones who let shine through the rain, the ones who stood for something more. We won't forget your names. The tide is high, say goodbye, we set and sail, and all those midnight secrets told, we'll take them to the grave. So when I'm gone, oh, when I'm gone, I'll be right there, close to the sun. Keep holding on, keep holding on, and I'll be right there, close to the sun, close to the sun.
Alright, sorry, I was drafted. For some reason, the trash had to go out immediately and go out at any other time. Had to be right now.
Clearly.
No excuses. Yeah, right now. Not that the garbage truck's coming or anything. Not till tomorrow.
But no, right now.
No, not in 10 minutes. Not in an hour. No, right.
It's because the XP multiplier was gonna run out soon.
It's double XP weekend. Shit, we
Mhm.
gotta go. I gotta get into the grinding, bro. Gotta queue up for some search and destroy if it's double XP weekend. Man, those were the fucking days. Were you ever a Halo Reach custom games kid? Did you ever get to experience that?
Child, I was a Halo 3 custom games kid.
Okay, so you got the Halo custom games experience when it was in its prime.
Not
That shit was awesome.
absolute prime. Halo 3 was better than Halo Reach, in my opinion. Because that's when custom games, like, when, that was
Became a
when,
thing. Like when
like-
Forge was really a first thing.
well, yeah, that's when Forge was created, was Halo 3. Which,
Yeah, exactly.
like, it's like, how have we,
So many
it's-
classic game modes.
am I gonna start hyperventilating here? Listen, it almost feels like a conspiracy at this point, how we've gone from golden age of gaming, which was Halo 3, Call of Duty 4, Battlefield 3, or Battlefield Bad Company 2, and then somehow we have taken, like, we have gone forward and lost features. From
I can
back
tell you
then.
exactly why. It's because back then the people who made video games and like made the decisions on what happens in games were the people who were really good at making video games. Now the people who make video games and make the decisions on what happens in games are
They make
really
them-
good at marketing.
Yeah, they make them for money now. It's like,
That's literally it. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
just, it became
it's-
super corporate.
yeah.
And
Like, it's not to say Halo
same thing
Reach
that's
was
starting to
bad.
happen to YouTube and like TikTok right now. You know,
Yeah, it's like, well, no, that's been happening to YouTube for a long time.
it's getting extra bad now though.
Yeah. Well, that's why competitors like Kick, Rumble, BitChute are like coming into ascendancy. But yeah, it's like Halo 3 had the superior experience in many ways. Like, not to say Halo Reach was bad, but like somehow we keep losing features. Like proximity voice
It's
chat.
expensive to make them work.
That's what they want you to think. Listen, I gotta play Balbit Remastered on stream at some
I
point.
mean,
Proximity.
is it expensive? No. But is it too expensive for corporate whoremongers? Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're scared
Is
of
it gonna
doing
make
it.
me twice as much profit as we spent on it? Directly? No, then I don't care. Don't work on it. No, but it'll make the game better as a whole. I don't care. Does it
one
double our profits? No, then fuck off.
one button join lobby, or like join person's party, I should say. You remember? Okay, I don't remember if we had that in Reach. We had it in Halo 3. You finish a match of Halo 3, right? And you're all in the same lobby and you're talking. You're probably talking crap or whatever the case may be. You just had to put your selector over a person's name, and there was a single button. I think it was X. You hit X, and you were now in that person's game party to continue going through matchmaking with them.
Oh yeah. I specifically remember me and my buddy bullying someone by following him around in Halo Reach like that. They couldn't save us.
Well, no, he could. He just didn't want. He didn't know
He
how or
just
didn't
didn't know
want
that you could block.
like block people. Yeah,
Oh, one
outright. Like,
second.
jeez. Imagine we just played Grand Theft Auto on stream.
Bro, I think I'd have stars at all times. It'd be so deceiving. It's like trying to play Counter-Strike while living in Iran.
That would assume you can get internet in Iran.
I remember that specific clip. It's like a kid sitting at his computer
Mhm.
playing CS:GO, and it's like the showing. It's like a laptop that's open, and it's showing a front angle of him sitting. So you see the laptop open, but you don't see the laptop screen.
Mhm.
It's a bunch of CS:GO sounds, like the gun shooting and shit, and being like, "Bomb has been planted, terrorist win, enemy spot, bomb has been planted." You know, so what that shooting sounds and stuff, and then it
Mhm.
cuts over to the other side where the person's looking from, and they're still in the loading screen.
You know what? CSGO is
CS:GO
anti-American and pro-terrorist, and you know why? Because Saddam Hussein played, or not Saddam Hussein, Osama bin Laden played a lot of Counter-Strike.
Do you remember that whole like conspiracy thing about not conspiracy, but like a bunch of news articles being like, "This is another reason why video games are bad," because ISIS was using Xbox 360 live voice lobbies to talk to each other without being spied on.
Of course, because I was in those lobbies.
What are you talking about? Of course I know. I am him.
Yeah, exactly. That was me. I am that man.
Oh God. So you are Subdual Ahmad.
Yeah.
I knew it. I
Yep.
thought it was just weird. I thought you just your name was wrong on the thing. It turns out that was the real name.
Yep. Do you remember that, oh, who was it exactly? Someone in the Fed, busted a bunch of guys because they kept saying bomb online in, like, a voice chat thing. Guess where they were saying, bomb a lot? In
Was
a,
that CS:GO?
in a game, Gears of War 2 lobby. Like, good job,
Oh,
guys.
Isn't there a oddball type game mode in that, but it's a bomb you carry? You have to hold it until it explodes, and if it explodes on your team,
No, and in fact, I don't think there's even a like a set the bomb type game mode. But you know what there is? A lot
getting
of
another knock on my door. Give me a second.
I'm gonna do something drastic.
I'm back.
You know what? There's a lot of in Gears of War 2. grenades, rockets, and tickers. Do you remember what tickers are? The
One
little
litter off a floor.
no, little gribbly like enemies that run at you on like all fours and like the size of like a medium-sized dog, and they run at you and then explode. They're literally walking bombs. I mean, literally walking
Suicide
by.
grunts.
Yeah, they're suicide grunts, except that's their only attack.
We
So
should do
yeah,
a stream
there's a
where
lot
we
of
play
bombs.
Halo Reach and do the Easter egg on that one flying mission where you get to fly a pelican.
Yeah. No, what we should do is play Halo 2 and
Have
get
you've
the
done that
Scarab
before,
gun.
right? Surely tons of times. That was your era.
I think so. I'm
Hold on. There's fucking frantic screaming happening outside my window now. I'm not kidding. Let me take a look at it.
Don't worry, guys. If we hear a popping, it's probably him doing the shooting.
Oh,
Probably.
it's some like kid's birthday party. There's a bounce castle out there.
All the more reason for the popping. I was saying, don't worry, guys. If we hear popping sounds, it's probably
Popping
him
down
doing the
bud and I
shooting.
return.
Uh,
No, it's like a kid's party.
okay. So, yeah, lawmakers are the ones that are causing the problems over in California. The fact that there are kids that have kids' parties in the first place is astounding. You would have think it would have all gotten drafted into the gangs by now, but hey, whatever.
The fact that they're not in the gangs means we're doing our job wrong. AAA bonus award, $100. I switched to 2 lines of T-Mobile? Ain't no way. I guess AAA and T-Mobile are doing a thing, so they just sent me a big ass thing in the mail for it.
Huh.
Yeah, that's right. I got car insurance. What about it? Anyways.
Getting wrecked and not caring about it.
Getting wrecked and then abandoning your vehicle. I just play in the mindset that if I crash my car, then it's done for anyways. So I just pretend like I didn't have one to begin with. Which, I mean, if you bought a really cheap, shitty car, that's actually not that bad of an idea. Because if you get in a wreck and you just pretend like the car never existed and you abandon it, yeah, you're -1 car completely. But your insurance isn't also fucked for, like, you know, the rest of your life now. Whereas if you get in a wreck, you report it to your insurance, you might have your car back and fixed somehow, but your also insurance is going to be completely fucked expensive for the rest of your life. So I could see a reason to do it now that I really think about it.
This, that should be a Cards Against Humanity card.
What specifically?
Your original statement, however you word it, was like a really nice and snappy, like single line statement.
That's awesome. I'm so high I don't even remember what I said.
Perfect. And you're not going to remember all these other things I'm going to incite you to say on record. Speaking of inciting...
I promise I was home.
Yeah.
I promise I was home June 4th, 1999. I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. Don't ask me what happened on June 5th. I can't remember. I can't remember June 5th,
Listen,
1999. I
you-
can't remember what happened to the family of 4. What family of 4? I
You-
didn't say anything.
You do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Okay, good. That way I know it's not me. They're not in the water.
That's actually referencing SCP, but anyway.
That's sassy. Baby formula is commonly used to cut drugs. That's also true. Baby formula is also baby powder. So it's like salt and sugar. Sorry, this is a terrible pause screen for him.
Already
I'm trying
agree.
to fill up my
Also, if I
pantry,
see
get
any
salt
more
and
people making
sugar, and
comments
the
about his
fucking
teeth,
bug-eyed
you're
cashier
gonna get
looks
in
at me
trouble,
like I'm
okay?
selling drugs and starts
Attack
sweating
ideas,
like I'm a
not
criminal.
people's looks. Cringe. All
Oh,
right,
shit.
we don't reach for the low-hanging fruits in this chat, okay? I believe in you.
That
How
if it
sexy
were
is
to
the
affect
person
only the
who got
bottom
all
line
the
of
low-hanging fruit?
That is the low-hanging fruit in this instance.
The only low-hanging fruit that I talk about is your balls, alright? Shut the fuck up and continue watching the video and make it on.
rich corporations, you gotta be more or less fine.
I remember asking
Even if
you
you think it's
fucking
bad in some
thing.
abstract sense, it's hard to get mad about. Like, because who cares? The harm only matters if and when that harm begins to affect regular people who might actually lose something in the process, when the company passes the damage down to their employees
will to
rather than
live
absorb
as
it
a security
themselves.
guard.
I think, though, the degree to which this actually happened
The harm only matters if it affects the working class. The harm doesn't matter for fucking over the business elites. They're ontologically evil, and therefore nothing that we do against them can ever be incorrect. Thanks, Top Sign.
is dramatically overstated.
Regular people, not the non-people, true.
Anyone who's ever worked one of these jobs can tell you they're paying you as little as they can possibly get away with, no matter what. They don't give a shit if their employees
Yeah, true and based. Like, if you're gonna pay someone, you pay them as low as you can get away with. That's called wage negotiation. Because at the end of the day, all businesses are in business to make money. If you are paying your workers too much, you're not going to be able to grow, expand, or...
I just figured it out.
What?
That's what it is. The
What?
moment something becomes they are only in it to make money now, that's when something becomes dog shit. Video games. The moment video games only became made solely so that you can make money from it, they became dog shit.
Okay.
And now
The
YouTube
quantifier-
videos are slowly starting to get more and more for the sole purpose of being made to make money, and that's what makes fucking dog shit.
I just
Angry,
want to
hatred,
remind...
seething. I'm pointing it right at you too. I'm not being ignorant to the fact that you also do that right now. But I'm not gonna hinder my opinion because you're here. You might get hurt, bitch. Hell.
I want to remind people to check out my Patreon. Patreon.
You're the problem. It's you. I figured it out.
Okay. The quantifier. I agree with you, but the quantifier. The quantifier is only, okay? As a baseline, as a business, you have to be in it to make money, because if you don't, you go out of business. But you need to have it balanced out with other factors. Everything needs to remain in balance. When
How many
it
pizza
becomes...
parties are you throwing your employees? Tell me now, or your entire business is being shut down. Me if I ran OSHA.
When was the last time I got pizza?
Does it count if you're self-employed and you just buy yourself a pizza as lunch? Does that
Well,
count as
yeah,
a
that's
party
what
under
it-
This new OSHA law.
Yeah, it's that exactly. That's exactly how it works. I mean, that's how it works with everything else. If I buy something and I
enough, though.
use it for this, I use it even
Does
remotely
that
for the
mean
stuff
that these
I can.
pizzas are now able to be written off as a tax write-off?
Yeah, they can and I do.
So you're telling me my OSHA would actually be fucking lit? Now you can get pizzas for lunch every day and write them off in your tax.
Oh, bold of
We
you
threw
to assume.
350
No.
fucking pizza parties this year. It's crazy.
Dude, you already can do that. If I go and have lunch with somebody at a restaurant, I already write it all off because they don't know what we talked about there. So I can say it was a business meeting talking about business. They have no idea. I don't go out to restaurants that often anyway, so there's no way for them to even say, I mean, it sounds like you're just doing this for the tax write-offs. No, I go out to restaurants like not
I
even
just- every
12
time
times
I
a
turn
year.
in my, every time I turn in my taxes, I just put a giant tax write-off for $300 for something I never even did at the very end. You know, just to get that extra little shebang, you know? It's just like
I
hella illegal.
Yeah, I was about to
It's
say,
like a
I do
super,
not
super
recommend
illegal.
anyone doing that. That is super illegal.
That is ironic as hell. I am being ironic.
Yeah,
It is
okay.
funny because it's so absurd somebody would do that.
Yeah. No, I actually do keep a very detailed ledger of everything that I write off. I spend like 3 days in a row on this every year, like right before tax season, figuring this out for the last year. I have huge Google Sheet documents of like hundreds of transactions and what they are, what they do, how they're linked to the business. So if I ever got audited, I'd be like, I got everything right here, bro. Like everything right here between my two different businesses and like
I have like
everything.
I have like 3 huge spreadsheets that I have to fill out a new thing on every single time or like put a new little part on to each of them every time I get anything from Fiverr. I like even label down every time me and the other person like contacted each other in like PST time zones.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I
I
don't.
have every detail to the T, almost to like a stalker level of information, you know?
Right, like you
Just 'cause
probably
I'm
don't
worried
even
of
need
stupid
that
shit
much,
happening.
but yeah, just in case, yeah.
It's also because my thing would be very easy for my kind of service for
Mm-hmm.
someone to scam me and like go through it and then refund it, you know? Because I don't turn in any physical proof. The fact that I ran the session, you
Right.
know? And you can't like I guess I could record it, but my computer can't exactly do that while running all the shit on it. I can barely run Owlbear anymore. You know?
Right.
Like
My stuff usually has pretty extensive
so like I'm
written.
worried somebody might go through the session and then try to like put in a refund for it and then bullshit that I never ran the session or like that. So I take as much detail down of everything that I can. Like if I can
Mhm.
take that detail down, I'm just gonna do it so I don't have to you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, my web dev stuff usually has pretty extensive written signed contracts, so I got that
Yeah.
covered. It's like, no, listen, I got and commissions too. When I do painting commissions,
Did you see the fucking
you get you get a contract of some sort, or at the very
the lawyer epidemic right now is starting to begin?
a lawyer epidemic, as in lack
Yeah,
thereof, or too many.
a bunch of people have started to like a bunch of like big people who used to have to call lawyers regularly to get information, shit, you know, like giant corporate people.
Yeah.
They've realized that unironically, uh, if they ask those exact same questions to Chat GPT, it would give them almost identical answers to what their lawyer would say. So that just means they don't have to pay like $500 to pick up the phone and talk to their lawyer about questioning something that they're planning on doing.
Man,
So they
I'm
just go to
glad
ChatGPT and do that. And so there's a whole bunch of like, there's a huge thing about like, they were calling it a lawyer epidemic.
I was
on
actually
the-
just
on the
in a
horizon.
conversation earlier today. It was about it was like a like the part where it becomes like really relevant is when I put like, listen, everyone in here that is complaining about money, here's w3schools.com, go learn how to code, go make some money. Like, it's really that simple. It's free. You just have to learn the stuff, and then like you find someone willing to pay you to do the work.
Mhm.
And one guy was like, oh, hey, I might actually use this, and I'm like, okay, cool. So go learn HTML first, and then move on to JavaScript. Was JavaScript, CSS, and PHP after that, and then MySQL for database stuff. He's like, oh, I'm gonna go like be like an economist and do like this stuff for like data analysis. And then another guy's like, careful, ChatGPT might just replace like that kind of data analysis like wholesale. And I'm like, yeah. While on the other hand, a web dev making like custom web applications for like complex websites, um, not not replaceable, because or not anytime soon. Like ChatGPT is good for like small strings of code, but like they're nowhere close to doing stuff like the thing I'm doing right now, where it's like a 200-point flow chart of like
Yeah, it still
how
struggles
everything
with
works.
making code that actually compiles. It's pretty good
Right,
at
like
factual stuff though. Things that are based off facts, you know, it can do that really well, and that's all law is. You know, you're trying to fact
yeah.
check.
So it's like I could probably get to write me code on like an individual page, but trying to get like 50 pages and functions all working together into a single string
Yeah.
of function, not a chance. We're nowhere close. So you still need a
There's also a
programmer
lot of
for that.
symbols and shit. Like the thing with that as well is like every AI bot and stuff like that with like search engines like ChatGPT, they don't
Mhm.
accept and output all symbols. So like it's gonna want to try to use symbols. There's a guarantee there's at least one or two symbols in that programming language uses all the time that it's either just gonna output wrong, that when copy pasted it's just not gonna work, or they just don't have it in their rosters of symbols that they output, and so it can't do that code.
I can't think of anything that like PHP uses that you don't use in common just speech, actually.
Like it also like chat
Hold on,
GPT
let me look at like a
specifically
page of
uses like the
code.
CSS uses like the CSS designing thing for text. So
Right.
if you have code that would have parentheses on either, or that would have asterisks on either side for something, instead of the copy pastable version being a piece of text with asterisks on either side, it would then just be a bolded version of that text, which is not what you need. You need the asterisk there for the program, but it doesn't understand that. It just
Okay.
CSSs it into thinking that you're bolding that sentence.
Um.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, then it probably would not be able to write me CSS code then. That's
Yeah.
okay.
Like slashes and stuff always thinks that you're trying to be like new line, not just have the slash there to have the slash there to copy paste later. So the slash gets deleted and now there's a new line that you're copy pasting.
Most of my stuff is bookmarked with like curly braces or parentheses and the occasional like the box parentheses or squared parentheses, whatever you call it. Unless it's like HTML, in which case it's a lot of like the lesser than, greater than. Because like, okay, so like I do most of my stuff in Laravel, which is like modified PHP that can also run HTML and JavaScript and CSS and everything. Like it is basically like really advanced WordPress in like as far as languages go. It uses all the same languages as WordPress. It just has a lot of stuff like modified to make it way easier than just writing raw any of those languages. It's like a lot of like, ironically, the stuff it wouldn't be able to punch out are like notes, because notes is like slash asterisk and then at the end of your note asterisk slash. But it's like I wouldn't have ChatGPT write me notes in a code script. I just want the code. I'll write the
Using that
notes.
as an example.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying like, yeah. I mean, I don't even know, because of the way Laravel structures itself, where like everything's broken up into as many little pieces as they can between different pages, and then the pages all interlink into each other. I don't even know how like useful ChatGPT even would be for me. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to play with it, but I simply don't have the time or energy to try learning that right this minute. In like the process of everything else I'm doing.
Give me a 10 minute break here. I'm gonna use the restroom and grab some water.
I was actually considering ending because I'm actually like pretty tired. It's been like dog for viewership. Like, so you know this, Friday nights are either completely dead or absolutely hopping. It seems we had a dead night. No one's around. None of the night crew that usually pops up seems to be around. Chat's like been basically completely silent, and I'm actually really tired. I've been tired all day. I would love nothing more.
D&D shit in the background.
Yeah, I would love nothing more than to get some ice cream and play some Gladius, because for some reason I'm still craving more Gladius. It's not even like, that's a whole conversation I can have, and like how sometimes like bad games are good. Like I've had a few games where it's like, I know this is a bad game, but I can't stop playing it. Probably my favorite game ever is technically a mediocre game, Sword of the Stars, the 4X space whatever, because it has a very unique gameplay setup that no one else has ever like come like really close to replicating. Nothing else anywhere. There's no game that exists that scratches the same itch as Sword of the Stars does. And I like this. I played the second one a lot, even though it's like legitimately broken. It has game-breaking bugs everywhere, but it's the larger, with more features version of Sword of the Stars. So like, I keep coming back to it because it has the biggest ships and the craziest guns, even though half the time it crashes, like, eventually. And then a few other games, so like Gladius is another one. Gladius is not like a bad game, it's just nothing special. Like I own other games like Age of Wonders that is legitimately a better game, but I want to play Gladius for some reason. And then like I remember when I was like teenager, did you ever hear the game Two Worlds?
No.
Okay. It was the second one was, I actually didn't play much of the second one. A friend had it. I never owned the second one, but the first one was it came out like not long after like Oblivion came out. And like it was just a dog crap like RPG, like horrible. You can look up a really funny video on how it's one of the games you can beat the storyline the fastest. You can speed run this game in legitimately like 2 minutes
Yeah.
because you go through a cutscene. You go through like one like cave instance that you can like knock out in like 30 seconds. That's supposed to be a tutorial, but you can just ignore all tutorial stuff and just go straight to the thing that activates you getting transported into the proper world. It was an open world RPG. And then you would be all of like 30 feet from the guy that you're supposed to kill to end the game. But like the idea is that like you're level 1, so you can't even touch this guy. But what you can do is you can go you can, let me see if I can remember how to do this. You go like get a bear that's like nearby. You attack the bear at range with like a fireball, bait the bear, get the bear to attack the guy that also makes him aggro you. You run and get both of those to chase you into a nearby town, and it gets all the other people involved, and basically between the bear and the villagers, they beat the main boss to death while you're standing on like a fence post or something stupid like that. I forget exactly what it was, but yeah, you can look up a video where like someone beats this entire open world RPG the size of like Oblivion in like 3 minutes flat. But the game had a really cool magic system and a decently interesting world. And honestly, one of its jankiest things was its voice acting, because everyone talks in like old school, like medieval English style, like
Mm-hmm.
like literally ye old, like they'd be using words like that. And it was really funny. And even some parts of that game like always stuck with me of like bandits. I'll just sometimes just say like especially with like gaming stuff, because like the guy, like you'd be riding your horse. Oh, it had better horse controls than like any Elder Scrolls that's ever existed somehow, ironically, even though this game was like a 4 out of 10 at best. Um you'd be riding your horse around and like a pack of wolves would attack you, or like even better, some like giant scorpion centaur things would like attack you or whatever, and the guy would just yell out, bandits. Like, yes, yes, my dude, I'm being attacked by bandits. These are wolves, but okay. I don't know, there was something really funky about that game that grabbed me, and I don't know, I just really enjoyed playing it, even though I knew this is a horrible, terrible quality game. But yeah, it was an instance of jank. Jank made that game cool, and also its magic system was like legitimately really cool. It was one of like the few games where it felt like meaningful to become powerful in magic. And I mean that because end game spells were like actually summoning a meteor swarm, like D&D style meteor swarm, where it like levels the environment around you. Or
Yeah.
or it would level the environment. It levels every enemy around you. It would level the environment if I had that effect. But it's like, it's a legitimately like you watch a giant a huge amount of giant flaming rocks fall from the sky and just annihilate everyone around you that's fighting you. And there was a bunch of stuff like that. But yeah, maybe I'll revisit that game at some point. I bet I could find it on Steam. Is that game on Steam? I'm sure it's gonna be like 50 cents if it's on Steam. Yo, Venom! Someone finally showed up. Venom had 2 worlds in Xbox. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how like sometimes garbage games are like worth it somehow. Actually, let me throw out probably a saucy take. Mass Effect was not actually that high quality. It was good for a bunch of reasons except for the game itself. I could.
Hello? Is this Sin Confession Hotline? I heard something I didn't want to hear.
Venom completely agrees. Yeah, Mass Effect 1's gameplay was
Oh yeah,
garbage.
Mass Effect 1 was bad as fuck. Mass Effect 2 and 3 are good though, and you can't tell me otherwise. It's my favorite game.
Mass Effect 2 was fine. I liked Mass Effect 3's combat best, but honestly, best thing to come out of Mass Effect was its multiplayer. Like its story
Oh, yeah,
was
80
it
hours
okay.
of every game for each playthrough.
Its
4 times.
world was really cool, but like everything else was kind of mediocre. Oh, except for the multiplayer. Multiplayer was awesome. Like that multiplayer was goated with the sauce.
Yeah.
I love Bricky's video on Mass Effect 3's multiplayer had no right to go as hard as it did.
Mm-hmm.
Two Worlds Epic Edition, $10. Would you believe it has a mostly positive? That can't be right. I remember when this came out, and Game Informer was like, "This game is a 4 out of 10. How could anyone bother playing this?" And I'm like, I completely agree. Gonna turn the
I
game on
still
right
have-
now.
I still have 6 Game Informer magazines kept in like a sealed plastic container inside of a box, just in case they end up becoming super expensive one day. I think they're actually already worth a chunk of change each, like a solid $8 or like $15 each. They
Mass
were
Effect.
basically free when you got them.
Venom's like Mass Effect 1 was rough, evolved into some greatness, but man, the gameplay is basic AF. It was a little bit worse than basic. Yeah, I'm about to I'm putting
I
Two
need to-
Worlds
I need to
on
see
my
this
stream
last
screen.
bit. Hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm looking on your screen right now.
yeah, look
Mass
at my
Effect
stream.
Mass Effect 1 was rough, agreed. It evolved into some greatness, true. And then the gameplay was basic AF. From Mass Effect 1, yes.
Okay,
Mass Effect 1 did not age well.
alright. Turn my audio to mute, because I'm about to play the Two Worlds trailer. Like the Two Worlds 1 trailer. This is on Steam. I found it on Steam.
Your voice or the stream?
Turn my voice to mute so you can watch my stream, is what I'm saying.
Oh. You old bitch ass. Can't even hear your ass right now.
Alright, I'm gonna start the thing.
Alright. Stream's on. I have no idea how far behind I am.
That's fine. I'm just gonna play and then you'll catch up eventually.
It's actually loading. Hold on. There we go. Now I'm here. There we go. I'm good. Is this some like PS2 game? Like PS1?
This was Xbox 360.
Okay, fair enough.
I forgot I had the music still playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it, but
It's fine. How our parents described walking to school back in their day.
I forgot you could get undead horses. That was actually pretty lit. Take that, horse armor.
Who's that right around table?
The dueled combat was actually pretty lit. Man, now that I'm looking at this again, maybe this game wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
It's got like Morrowind type combat.
So you thought you could escape
You know, where
me?
everyone's just kind of standing in front of each other, slashing.
I mean,
No real animation for being hit or hitting, but you're just kind of swinging at each other.
well, actually, no, it had like Skyrim style or like Oblivion style combat where like if you connect, you're hitting. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But I mean like the animation.
Oh, the
Like,
animation's
they
very
Where
Morrowind.
it's like
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
difference in animation for whether you miss or hit an enemy, or like their animation on the character.
Oh,
model, if you
yeah,
get hit
it's-
or not. You're just standing in front of each other, swinging your swords until somebody suddenly ragdolls.
Just some like, yeah. Man, now I kind of want to get that.
Out of the playing Morrowind, it was always that.
Oh,
shit. It was
am
so
I-
funny.
Am I going to be playing Two Worlds? Are we going to turn this into a Two World stream? Should I just buy that and start playing that right now? I kind of wanna.
You should, because then I can play a game and not feel bad. I'm trying to think of it here. Can you help me make a thing?
Make a thing. Man, you want me to
So
do
in
work
that
now?
Game, in that game, I explained that they're assaulting this ship, blah blah blah. During that fight, the guy who's like leading this place is gonna be like, I'm gonna give my soldiers this mutation serum, and it's gonna mutate them into giant grotesque monsters that'll take care of the enemies here. Because of X, Y, and Z story stuff, I'm not gonna explain right now.
Good,
I'm
I
trying to think
wasn't
of
gonna
something
listen anyway.
interesting. I was trying to think of an interesting ability to give him mutated like soldier, someone who just became like giant and strong, like 20 in con, 20 in strength. What's like an interesting thing I can get them so they're not just a big body that punches you and can take a lot of damage.
Okay, you do something like what we have with obliterators. So obliterators in 40k are a unit of uh they're like space marines that got super demon possessed. Like they used to be heavy weapons marines, and then they got super possessed, and now they're super big. But their guns have a lot of randomization as to like what kind of shots they do, how many shots, how strong the shots are, how much arm penetration, how much damage. So everything's randomized. So like you might roll hot on like a whole bunch of traits, and then like anything that actually hits annihilates someone, or it could just be a pea shooter. You got no idea. It's super randomized. So what you could do, like with obliterators, you have like 3 like gun types, like a rapid fire one, a heavy one, a medium one, whatever. You have to roll to figure out which one it shoots because the gun's just morphing constantly. Or the punches morph, what their hands morphing, whatever. Like maybe it's tentacles for the multi attack, or maybe it's a giant rocky fist for like the big one or whatever. But you have to roll to figure out which one you're punching with, and then you roll stats on top of that. Is that +1, +3, -1 even? Who knows? Because mutations are not always beneficial, are they? You just make like a bunch of randomized tables for all the aspects of it. Thus, the rapid mutation makes his attacks unpredictable in their efficacy. That's what I would do. I think Crusader No
I've kind
Remorse.
of altered that a little,
Mhm.
and I've taken the idea of it and I've done a yoink and twist. So instead of giving this thing multi-attack, I'm giving it mutant attack. It rolls a d4. If it's 1, they make no attack this turn. 2, they make 1 attack. 3, 2 attacks. 4, 3 attacks.
There you go. Venom
But
says
the-
Crusader No Remorse was your garbage game that you loved back in the day. I have never heard of this game. I mean, apparently my game was not even a garbage game, but let me try looking up Crusader No Remorse. Ah, the old yoink and twist. Do that. Oh, something. I lost all my screens. Oh, Google just decided to minimize every single window I have. What is happening?
You know what dog shit game I played on the PC back in the day was the 2005 Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire for PC.
You sure it wasn't Harry Potter? The the generic brand ripoff?
Harry Squatter. You have to. I think Snape squatted the forbidden weight. He was lifting through the gym of penance the other day. And nobody is to drink from the forbidden goblet of protein. That is only for the master lifters to drink. Have you seen any of the Harry Squatter like string of fucking shorts?
Yeah, I have.
So funny. I love them, bro. They're so good.
Crusader. I mean, the
Mutant
pro.
attacks, and they need to be ordered to attack things by their commander. Otherwise, they just attack the nearest creature to them that isn't mutated, which
Yeah.
does put a bit of a weird play in there. Because our players can fuck with that. Because one of our players, their whole class is a like chemist who mutates themselves. So like, he also has mutation. So if he finds this out, he can use that against them to like sneak by. Because they
Crusader.
won't attack them on
No.
their own. But if there's a commander around that tells them to attack that one, they will fucking.
I'm seeing pictures of this game, Venom, and you know, actually, I was gonna say, like, I apologize, but actually the graphic style and stuff looks like old XComs, and which was a legitimately amazing game that I also played a crapload of, and, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
There was this really, really old Digimon game that was like the first game I ever touched when I was like 5 years old. Shit like I have no idea how to find it though.
I
Was
can't.
it Digimon World?
Oh, I don't
Yeah, it
know.
might
I
have
didn't
been
play any other
Digimon World.
games. I can't believe.
Like 2006. Yeah, with Digimon World. Oh my god.
I am. Do I completely misremember how, like, the reception to Two Worlds? People seem to be really big on this game. Recent reviews very positive, all reviews mostly positive, and then like a bunch of like old quotes from like GameStar and PC Gamer back in the day with like 85, 81 reviews. Like pointing. Um the big player alongside Oblivion and Gothic 3. Great RPG. Like man, maybe I just haven't really maybe Game Informer was the main one that thought really sourly on this. I don't know. Metacritic has a 65. Which, to be fair, the graphics are awful. Graphics are pretty bad. I'm not gonna argue that at all. Even for their time, they were bad in the time because like I said, this is like right alongside Oblivion, and you saw that those graphics Oblivion was not. Game Informer gave a 4, yeah. Okay, I'm not crazy, and they like very rarely give games ratings below a 5. So I'm not insane. That was real. Well, now Venom's here, and
Venom.
I'm still tired. Yeah.
Why are you so such L nerd, bro?
Why am I at an L? GameSpawn IGN gave it 7.5 and some producers talking about. Okay, I'm glad I'm not insane. Cause like it felt like I was like was I gaslighting myself back as a teenager? Like this was actually a good game. Maybe it's just the guy that reviewed it back in the day for Game Informer. Was just. Alright, here's my story. Oblivion was out. All he wanted to do was play Oblivion, but he had to play Two Worlds so he could write the articles. But all he could think about the entire time was how he wanted to play Oblivion. That's the story in my head now. That's my headcanon. That's why Game Informer gave it a 4. For clarity, I have nothing to back that up. That's a complete just story I made up. Oh, Venom. The bits came in. I also have funky Talon Sword. I got 2 packs of these. I have no idea when I'm gonna use them, because I'm making just a bunch of Gravis guys with big guns, and then after that I'm painting a bunch of vehicles, and then another Gravis captain, and another apothecary biologist. Which, to be fair, I might use one of these, what is it, like the silenced bolt pistol? This thing? I might use this on the apothecary. On the apothecary biologist, but all the rest of the stuff's gonna have to wait until after I finish this list.
Now the giant boss mutation guy rolls a D8 instead of a D4 with the same ratios to decide how many attacks he makes that turn.
Oof.
The fucker could just make fucking 8 unarmed strikes in one turn and ruin your day. Is that a little too powerful? Should I make it a D6?
D6.
He's only got 80 HP with resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, slashing, piercing. But if the players realize that, they all have a way to switch to something that can hit them.
Or you can make it 2d4, so it's more reliable. So it's like d4 with advantage.
D4 with advantage or just 2d4?
Well, 2d4 is 1d8 but better, because the lowest you can get is a 2. Right, that's like
D6,
like we do that in
I think I'll make it a D6. 6 attacks a turn is crazy on its own. So is 5 attacks. Yeah, I'll leave it a D6. He also gets
yeah,
a +2
that's
to
fair.
attack rolls and a +1 to damage.
Because
Extra HP, higher AC.
we do that in like Warhammer all the time, where it's like, okay, it can be a d6 or it could be like 2d3, which is better because you're more like your minimum's a 2 and your
Yeah,
Right.
minimum's higher.
Right.
Average is also higher.
Yeah, actually, yeah, the average is actually
Technically, there
higher.
is no average
Well,
if you're only rolling one dice.
well, no, it's not. It's not D3 advantage. It's literally 2D3 instead of a D6. Is how we do in Warhammer. Warhammer doesn't do advantage. I mean, it does. It gives you like a reroll, but you have to take whatever the
You know
result
what?
is if you reroll.
You know what Mutant Masterminds does instead of advantage? That me and my players really like.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of rolling with advantage, they have instead something called a I forget what it's called, but it's basically their form of advantage. Instead of rolling 2d20s and taking a higher number, you re-roll the d20, and if it's lower than 11, if the number that comes out is 11 or lower, you add an additional plus 10 to that roll
Mm-hmm.
on top of whatever you're already adding. So if you roll over 11, then you're just adding your normal stats to the roll. But if you roll 11 or under, you add an additional plus 10 to it. So it pretty much guarantees a high roll, at least, right?
Yes.
Because although a natural one is still a natural one, it basically guarantees a high roll. Whereas in D&D, you're always still taking a risk.
Yeah.
They have like an advanced thing, whereas like if they spend a hero point to do this like increased roll with the 11 thing,
Mm-hmm.
and it still ends up bad, and they decide they want to spend another hero point to do it again, then it takes D&D advantage rolls, where you roll 2d20s and you take the higher number.
Okay. Venom, to answer
I
your
guess just
question
because
there.
it's more general,
Yeah. To
more
answer your
general in combat.
to answer your question, Venom, they came like they weren't on supports, but they need a little bit of cleaning up here and there. The tilt plates are pretty cool though. Like this one's pretty nice. I like this one quite a bit. This is the helmets in particular are making me kind of want to get those flexible files, because at least I can see, maybe it's because they're not panned yet, but I can see the layers, and I'm not sure if that'll show up after being primed, or if the paint will fill those. But I also noticed that a lot of the details are not very deep. You're gonna have to paint these pretty carefully and like actually paint all the lines you want. You're not gonna have a lot in the way of edges to rely on, unlike GW, which usually have pretty sharp and notable angles. But hey, yours came in
We've
supports.
been in here for 4 hours. Nearly 4 hours. We were 17 minutes in.
Yep, we're
Started at about 4 p.m.
we
and
are
on 8 p.m. for me.
yeah. It was like 7.
Jesus.
7 now. It's like only 11 here. Yeah, we are not finishing that video again.
No, let's finish it right now.
Oof. Yeah, I'm crashing. Oh, I'm crashing pretty hard, actually.
Well, I'm gonna use the restroom.
I-
Get back, let me know what your decision was.
I mean, you'll probably know because I just won't be here. You'll just be by yourself.
Fair enough, bro. Since it's coming towards the end of stream, anyways, I think I'm just gonna hop off.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
All right, I'll see you, man. Hit me up the next time, yeah.
Yeah, Caesar.
Bye.
Yeah, Venom. I mean, I was, but no, fair enough. I've been like really tired all day. It's like super rainy here. It's like hardcore, like dark, rainy crap. Like I've gotten like no work done. Stream was pretty dead most of the way. I mean, Sai and I like talked about a lot of pretty cool stuff, but there was like no one around to appreciate it. However, I have some cool news. One of the VODs from, well, I think like Monday's VOD is like exploding right now. It's gotten us a few subscribers. And it's currently sitting at, oh, I lost a subscriber somewhere. Oh, I think it finally peered off. Yeah, it finally peered off views. Ned, 843 views in the last 48 hours. We have almost gotten our first 1,000 view video. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was like YouTube algorithm was like, here, everyone gets to see this, and or if it was my title, don't let opinionated people see this. I don't know which, but hey, I'm assuming the title plus algorithm, I don't know. I kind of went off on the description of that video, but I don't know. I gotta sit down and study it. But yeah, we got a couple subs from it. We're at 30 subs now. We were at 31 earlier. I guess someone unsubbed at some point. I don't know. Sheeple are really bringing them in then. Well, I mean, no one showed up tonight. Actually, I already had renamed it. Because I thought it wasn't working, but it's also Friday, so who knows. I don't know what the end title will be at this point. Current title is Seething, Malding, and Coping about Shoplifting and Capitalism. Well, yeah, because I used to be a security guard at like a grocery store in California of all places, and I used to work retail as well. But yeah, he used to be a security guard, and I know a lot of political takes and economics takes. So it was even the like 15 minutes we actually got into the video. We had a lot of conversation. I don't miss anything to do with working retail, honestly. I miss a couple individual people as people. I miss nothing about the job, gonna be honest. Yeah. So yeah, I'm probably gonna go grab some ice cream and then play some Gladius, or screw it, I might play some Two Worlds. Apparently. That apparently is back on my radar. I don't know. Yeah, have a good night, man. I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully a more entertaining Saturday stream. We'll see. Don't know when I'll start. Kind of depends on how my programming goes. Programming was next to non-existent today, but I think I might be on something with the thing I'm currently stuck on, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, I'm out of here. For anyone else watching, you know what to do. Hit the buttons. The buttons are there. I don't need to tell you what to do, you know. You're on the internet.
Stars up high will guide us home. You and I, it's time to take the throne. Dragons at the gate, they won't stop us getting to the top. Whoa.